Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode. I am Michael Petrow, and joining me on the show this week, Emily Angela makes a return, Ian Bauer, and Rob Strachan. What are we talking about? We sit down, we bring up SNL. What skit should be the next big SNL movie? Does Dexter do moral things? Is what he does on the show with other killers moral or immoral? What TV doctor do you want at your bedside? What was the first cult movie that you ever watched that kind of expanded your mind into film? Lord of the Rings and the Rings of Power are confirmed. We make our predictions, and Heat has a sequel, but not in the way you think it is. That's who's on the show. That's what's on the show for you this week, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah, we're going to go video this year. That's confirmed. I just bought the Mevo Logitech camera set, the 3-camera set that will allow us to stream onto the interwebs. We'll be on YouTube a lot more. There'll be video. You'll be able to see us. All of these ugly faces behind these deep and delicious voices will now be broadcasted into your homes, ladies and gentlemen. So that's coming. TheRealDebaters.ca is working again, even if it isn't what I hoped it would be. It is what it is. If you want to subscribe to the show, see who we are, learn about us, and just basically stay in touch with The Real Debaters. RealDebaters.ca is the easiest way to do so. That's it for housekeeping. I got nothing else. I told you I'd keep it short. Still going to roll with that in 2022. So without further ado, I give you Ian, Emily, Angela, and myself with a bunch of mini debates. I will cue the reel, and you enjoy the show.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome, everybody, to the official space section of the chart.
The truth! You can't handle the truth! Sir, you're out of order. Out of order? I show you out of order!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Real Debaters production. I am Michael Petrow.
I'm Ian Bauer.
Emily Clark.
I'm Jimmy Skinner. I'm Rob Strachan.
And this is another Real Debaters production where real life meets real life, everybody. On the show this week, we have another Real Talk for you. A selection of conversations and topics that have been curated from online, from in this room, from everybody that we talk to on the show. And without further ado, let's start it. Let's not fuck around. That's what I promised everybody this year. I was like, I'm going to talk less in the beginning because really, you don't come here to listen to me speak. I mean, if you do, that's a I can make a recording.
One quarter of it.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Math makes me feel better. Anyways, Ian, let's start with you. What did you watch this week, man?
I made a list because I
love your list.
I fucking watch too much, and I've been procrastinating all the work in the world right now. So I'm just gonna hammer
Must
through.
be fucking nice.
It's so nice not to depend on money, but no, I should be working. I've just been there's been too much good shit.
I have this short window to watch what I want to watch, and it's between 11 p.m. and 12:30 a.m.
I choose to have
That's
a dog.
about right, yeah.
And that's all I
You've
have.
really got to zone in on what you want to see. I guess,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Talk to me.
I'm very selective.
No kidding.
Station 11 is the
Yeah,
greatest.
you've been talking about that.
It's
in the group.
so good.
I started watching it.
It's the most. It's up there with Leftovers for me right now. My top favorite shows is Leftovers. Right now, it's Station 11, then halt and catch fire, then Breaking Bad, and then
I love Halt and Catch Fire.
Halt and Catch Fire.
Well, and she's in both of them.
Mackenzie Davis in both.
Do you also-
Hamish Patel is
Do you also like the Terminator movie with her in it?
I do.
I know,
It's
it's
so
good,
good.
it's
It's
good.
after watching Station 11, I was like, I'm gonna go back and rewatch because I really liked it in theaters too. I fought for that movie, but no, Station 11's bleak as fuck, but everyone should be watching it. It's
What's the plot?
The plot is
A real disease comes and kills everybody?
a flu that takes over the world in the post-apocalyptic world. Of
Why do we know about this?
right?
That doesn't sound realistic.
Well,
I don't
in
know.
Very getting fucking deja vu here.
and the joke of it is they shot half the I say the first 4 episodes pre-pandemic, and then they have to shut down. Then they came back and finished
So
it.
it's meta. It's
So
in
it's
there.
it's meta
as
in the
fuck,
fact,
yeah.
because it does take place in the future. Some of the stuff, so it is very
So they were able to pull from real emotional experiences.
very much so. And it's funny
It's
when
a little freaky.
it's based on a
Kind of.
It's based on a book, and the author, when everything was happening, she wrote on Twitter at one point, being like, "Maybe don't read my book right now." During March of 2020, she's like, "Don't read the book. I'll tell you guys, it's a good book, but don't read it right now."
I like how in that first episode he buys $10,000 worth of
of
shit
groceries?
at
Yeah.
groceries, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
But I was just like, fucking good plan.
Right? I know.
Good plan. Because it's not like anyone's coming after you for that debt later.
Well, it's one of
No
those
shit.
shows, like, and again, I won't go too deep into it, but it's one of those shows that all the characters do the thing that you kind of should do. Like, it's
well,
not
that's
one
why
of
they
those-
live.
Yeah, that's why they live. Like, because it's more
It's
reality.
like a how-to manual. Should I watch it?
In
and,
a
like,
way,
learn?
like I went ice fishing recently, only because I watched Station 11 and felt like I didn't have enough like survival skills as a boy.
It's kind of like the zombie apocalypse handbook that
Yeah.
Max Brooks wrote.
Yeah. Oh,
How to Survive the Zombie Apocalypse.
Yes,
I
thank
have
you.
that book. It's a
Just
great book.
remember, guys,
Did they make a movie?
knives don't run out of bullets.
That's actually that's a
so
quote
did they
in the
not?
book.
Did they not
World
make
War
a
War
movie?
Z.
World War Z.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of. Right. No. Otherwise, like, highly recommend. I'll just blast through the other stuff I've been watching. Search Party last season. Very good. Not as good as the other seasons, but definitely worth the watch and very funny. Cheer season 2, which I'm like halfway through.
That's the cheerleading
actually-
docuseries.
I was thinking
docuseries.
about watching that.
It's
Worth
very
it?
good.
Yeah?
It's like Cheer season 1 is more about the team itself and their journey. And it's very impactful. It's so beautifully shot. Like they're just like Jesus. It's just like one of
Okay,
the best.
I want drama. Is there drama?
There's drama. and
Is
there's
there
good
as much
characters.
drama as the F1 racing?
No.
Oh my God,
Of course
Well,
not.
then.
Well, like probably. I don't know.
Obsessed
Here's
with
the thing.
F1.
You will see like these people are like the most athletic grouping of
Yeah.
people you'll ever like. I feel like disgustingly out of shape watching these people. Like they're so good at.
Well, based on the
everything.
amount you're watching, I mean,
I
aren't you?
I know. You're right.
Also, I was thinking like a bunch of beautiful people like bouncing around on TV. There's no downside, right? And so like if it's also good
That's a good
television
point.
on top
Yeah.
of it, okay.
Yeah. And
Well,
season.
why wouldn't you just watch Too Hot to Handle then?
Oh, I will, and I have.
Too Hot to
and,
Handle is a fucking ingenious
I
show
love
that everyone
that
should watch.
show.
It's
Yeah.
it's the best bad show.
Absolutely.
Dude,
Um,
I'm gonna cut you off there. I tried it last night.
Yeah.
Because we were waiting for.
You say it
for
like
You
a drug.
didn't like it?
You say
You
it like
like
a drug,
everything
yeah.
reality.
It's so good.
What?
one
It's
would
amazing.
think that I'm a sure bet, but hang on. So like
They're all
we,
horny.
Well, we had people coming over, and I was like, we had like 45 minutes to kill, so I was like, all right, let's just try this. And I got past the credits, I got past the whole premise about like season 2 is nothing compared to this season, and was like, okay, fine. And then I saw one guy in his like quick clip of him like, we can't have sex.
That's
I
so
might
funny.
die.
Well, that's the
And
best
I was like,
part.
I'm out. I pulled the ejection sheet. I was like, I don't mind wasting fucking time on dumb shit. I'm fine with it. But this was just like, no, I can't even find anything endearing about these
But
characters.
that's what they do. They find beautiful, dumb fucking
Exactly.
people.
They're so
that all they
vain.
care about is fucking
And masturbating.
and being hot.
Yeah.
And you have to realize that like they're in the prime of their hotness too. Like these people are fucking constantly. So take away something that
21.
you're doing all the
Yeah.
time anyway.
And ripped.
Like, yeah, they're super fucking hot, and so you tell them like you can't do the thing that you're best at and that you like the most on a beach filled with other people who that's the thing they're best at and they like the most. That's tough.
Also, it's not just fucking; it's masturbating. It's
Yes.
any sort of fondling.
Yeah.
It's also,
Imagine
like,
you couldn't jerk off at all.
It's a
Around
lot of
all
months.
those hot
I-
people.
I'm not gonna say. I would lose.
I would.
well, no,
I would
does
lose.
the bucket of money goes down.
I know. And
Yeah.
it's
I'm
$0.
like, just send me
How much-
home
okay,
and send
all
like
right,
6 of these people
all right.
with me.
sorry. I'm sorry to bogart your time, but like,
No.
How much do you lose for jerking off? Like, if-
Well, they
It
have
was
a
like
different
$5
thing. I
grand
think
or
it's
something,
$5
isn't it?
grand.
Or like $2 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's-
fucking is a lot of money.
Yeah, fucking's
what
like
about
20 grand.
What
Yeah,
about
even drunk.
fingering your own butthole?
I think
Well,
that,
that's never
that
been
counts
brought
as
up.
masturbation.
Are
I'm
you
pretty sure.
scratching?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you use the wrong detergent.
No. This is full finger penetration.
Right, so
Like
you're doing it for
milking-
pleasure.
One
milking
knuckle.
The prostate.
I guess if the cameras can like conclude that it is pleasurable versus like, because I could
Okay.
be like, no, and I'd be like, that was an itch.
So this is a
How deep of an itch do you get?
It gets in there.
Wow. I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
I always wondered though, like
A whole knuckle.
What if you accidentally just like have an orgasm in your sleep? You know, like sometimes
thought
if you
that too.
because like you go a long time sometimes, and you
Yeah.
just like have a dream, and you're just you wake up and you're like,
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
are they black lighting the sheets
then, like,
each night?
Well, yes. No
Like
kidding.
what are the,
I think there's a gray area. Obviously.
no.
Can we move on to
White
something?
area.
we definitely sorry. Yes, we can do that.
It's like
Our viewers are. Thank you for the cinematic analysis of
too hot to handle.
Yes, Ian, keep going. Ian.
The last thing I'll say, I've binged hard because a friend told me to watch is a show that's all on YouTube. It's a UK show. It's a game show that isn't a game show called Taskmaster.
I've heard about this recently.
It's
What is
so
what-
good. It's basically mini games with 5 different comedians. There's like 13 seasons or 12 seasons of the
kind
show.
of like the British panel shows.
Yes,
with the comedians.
yeah. And it's so funny. It's so random. It's so good, and I've watched all of it at this point. And it's just like, honestly, it's comfort food. It's something to turn on at night, and I zone out, and I go, oh, okay, I can go to bed now. It's something to get a little stoned to, and just like,
Yeah.
I laugh so much.
Cheetos or chips?
Almonds.
That's like the most 30-something thing I've ever heard. What's your snack? Almonds.
It's
Not roasted, no salt. Raw.
Organic.
They're oven roasted. Okay, I'm sorry. Damn it.
R.I.P.
Oh, you
Anyways.
burnt out all the natural nutrients. No.
That's all I've been watching.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Okay, so obviously
That was a lot.
If you
I
like that,
know.
you should try. Have you seen 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown?
No, I don't.
So
even know
if you like that one, you should check out 8 out of 10 Cats.
Is that a
it's
British?
a British panel show with comedians. It's kind of like a game show, but not
Yeah.
really. Same idea.
That's what I compared the show to Whose Line Is It Anyways, where
Yeah.
the points don't matter. But it's like
Points don't matter.
it's so funny. Like I just like sit and laugh, and it's just improv. And
Check out 8 out of 10 Cats. It's hosted by Jimmy Carr.
Oh, my friend told me
Oh,
this.
yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
That's
Okay,
the
yeah.
show. Yeah.
It's
I
very,
know this.
very
I
good.
see.
It's
Yeah.
very funny.
how many booster shots out of 10 do you give Station 11? That's to you, man.
Oh, that's to me.
Yeah, like how many
You
boosters?
pointed-
No, I was waving my wand at her, but I'm talking to you.
How many bleeding out of your eyes viruses
Yes.
do you give Station 11?
How many Ebolas out of 10?
Well, the max number. Do you overdo it? I don't even know. It's like it's a high number.
It's
Whatever.
whatever
it
the
is.
appropriate number of boosters is.
Yeah, whatever
Whatever the government decides.
whatever it stops the
13.
fucking virus is the number.
Okay,
It's like
fair enough.
11 of 11. I'm trying to make a fucking pun out of it, and I don't know where my brain should go.
That's
Like,
fine. It's littered with landmines, so we'll just
Great.
move on.
You threw me under the bus.
Oh, man.
All right, Emily, it's been a minute since you've been on. So, what have you been watching with?
I've been revisiting the Defenders universe lately, and
Okay.
so
Nice.
back at sticking with Marvel. But so this week I actually watched. I finished up season 1 of Jessica Jones, and
So
you're
good.
going
yeah,
back.
yeah,
So good.
and into season 1 of Luke Cage. So
Also
almost on
good.
season 1 of Luke Cage. Yeah.
So you're like one of the 7 people that's still watching that show.
I watched it again. Yeah,
It-
it's been really great. I've been really loving it. Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones
So are you
season 1
watching?
is
Are you
so
watching
good.
these to only be disappointed that they're no longer part of the MCU?
Like
One wrong.
a little bit. I was actually sort of inspired by Daredevil, and like knowing sort of that Daredevil was making like maybe a little comeback and teaming up with Spidey. And so I started with Daredevil, and then I've been working my way through it chronologically. So
So did you watch all 3 seasons of Daredevil?
I will be circling back to season
You're
3
going-
of
you're going by the
Daredevil. I'm going
proper order.
Yeah,
Oh,
going
okay,
in proper order. So so right now I just finished up season 1 of Luke. Or almost finished season
Your
1 of
mind
Luke
is
Cage.
gonna blow when you get to Iron Fist. One of the best
Iron Fist
TV
is next.
experiences.
That's season 1 of Iron Fist is next.
Was
I-
that sarcasm?
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I've heard it's bad, but you know what? That's okay. I haven't actually seen that one.
I feel that
Is
even
it-
if they're bad, you have to do them all because
Yeah.
there's some
Yeah.
story that you might be
Absolutely.
missing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you got to get to Defenders.
yeah, I gotta
Yeah.
get to the.
You gotta watch Thor 2 to get
You-
the
you
Avengers.
do have
to
to.
get to Avengers. Yeah.
That should just be a universal line of like if someone's like I need some wisdom, you'd like everybody's got to
Gotta
watch
get through
Thor
Thor
too.
2.
Actually,
yeah.
that doesn't even make sense because that came out before Avengers. Now I think about it. I was like,
Can I tell you guys a secret?
Yeah.
I've never seen Thor 2.
What?
That is the one that
I haven't either. I haven't either. I haven't
on.
either.
you guys
It's
had, you
the
had no
one
idea.
MCU
I just
movie
felt
I haven't seen.
I just felt I didn't need any more.
I didn't.
You didn't know about the ether?
I knew about the
I
ether
knew
through
from the-
enough clips.
Yeah,
It's not a great movie, but you
it's
know
a
what?
shitty fucking movie from
Okay.
everything I've read.
We hang out in Thor's world.
I have an MCU supercut that we watch. My husband and I watch, and we'll watch it go back because he always adds stuff to it as more.
Can you send
content
us
comes out.
that, please?
Absolutely. And so it's a chronological supercut. So you get like cuts of different movies, like from scenes in, scenes out. So that's how I've watched Thor 2 more than one time because you watch it in that within that chronological
And I've done it the same
supercut.
way where
Yeah.
someone says something in a room and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I leave and I YouTube it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so like I've done it on an informational basis. I
Right.
haven't done it on a let's sit down and give this pot of crap my 2 hours. Because
Right.
like I'm not. I know it's Thor's world. I know it's Asgard. I know it's the Bifrost. I know it's all of these things. and the ether and where that stone comes from. But like, you don't need to watch that just as much as you may not actually need to watch Ant-Man. Like you can. But it's not.
But Ant-Man's good.
Ant-Man's good. That's the difference. I'm just saying it's one of those where you can throw by
Paul
the wayside.
Rudd is a national treasure.
He is. He's America's sexiest man last
Fucking
year.
vampire.
Loki dies in Thor 2, technically.
Technically, yes, but then again, you can clip that shit. Like it's
I
not
know.
pivotal.
I know.
I don't like the way Thor looks in that. I don't like his
Well,
costume as
they,
much. I don't
uh,
like his curlyish
I think
hair.
they-
I don't like Natalie
his
Portman.
eyeshadow.
Yeah, his
Inappropriate
eyebrows are
statement.
blonde.
Thor looks good in everything. Like
No.
you can't ever say
No.
I don't like the
No.
way
He is
Thor
a-
looks.
he is a
I
man
like
person.
You have me take that
my
seriously.
image of Thor is either Fat Thor or Thor Ragnarok. That is like those are the two Thors I like.
So short haircut or like
short
overbloated.
haircut Thor is A+.
Hey, listen, as
boom!
someone, as,
I would fuck the shit out of.
You'd have to
short
get in
haircut
line. Actually,
Thor.
and Emily can sympathize here. As someone who wears glasses, I sympathize with a one less eye Thor more than I do with a Thor that has two eyes.
My dog
Why?
does too.
yeah, I think Diamond.
Because you don't want depth perception.
No, just because I understand the lack thereof.
Yeah.
Like I have one weaker eye, so I.
So
I'm
that
ju-
being said, are you giving me permission to remove one of your eyes?
Only
No,
for,
I'm not-
for coolness.
I don't want to.
factor.
Yeah, it's just like we have a thing in common. I
Yeah.
see myself on the screen.
You also like
in one eye Thor.
You
see
also
yourself
like
in Thor.
you also like pirates a lot. I know. So
I do. I heard you, matey. Where be the rum?
So Paul Rudd,
Yes.
National Treasure, actually brings me back to something I watched last weekend, which I forgot
Yeah,
about.
back to what you were watching.
Which I forgot about until you said Paul Rudd being a National Treasure, which was the new Ghostbusters movie.
I haven't
And
seen it yet.
that
I've seen it.
was fucking awesome.
It's very good.
Okay.
I
Okay.
loved it. I was prepared to hate it. I was prepared to like not enjoy it at all. It was aces all the way through. The fact that it focuses on kids, which I was again thinking I was gonna hate because
the kid from Stranger Things is in there, right?
Yes.
yes,
Finn
yes.
Wolf Hawk.
So good.
Wolf something.
Like freaking awesome. They have like Paul Rudd's obviously in it, but he's more of
He's-
like
he's
a
supporting
sub
cast.
char-
He
Yeah,
is.
supporting
Yeah.
cast.
Is Ernie Hudson in it?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And
What?
yeah.
Pivotal role,
Oh, yeah.
actually.
No,
All right, guys, I gotta leave right now and
it's
go watch
honestly
that.
so good. They caught the theme of the original Ghostbusters so perfectly, like the way that it's shot, all the colors, the whole thing feels very 80s, but
It's as if
but
Ivan
good-
Reitman
but
did it,
it's
but
good
his son
CGI.
did it.
good CGI. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Very good CGI.
It was excellent. Like I can't recommend it highly enough, and I was not prepared to like
It's
it.
very charming. I said like
Yeah.
I came out of that movie and I was like, it's charming.
I
like
Like it pulled on your heartstrings in all the right
it
ways.
just had it, you know. And I'm not a Ghostbuster fanboy, but like I was very just charmed by it, moved by it, but also I was like was satisfied, and I accept that as a
Yeah.
Ghostbuster.
Can I ask
movie.
where the
Felt like
level of
canon.
charm is? You know when you watch Back to the Future and you're just
Well,
like
that's like
and
one of
you're
my
just
all-time
like,
favorite.
"Oh."
Yeah.
Is it that
Love
charming?
No, it's not that, but because
Okay.
that's a different level of,
Yeah.
of movie for me.
We
But
made
like,
the kids watch that recently, and they're 10 and 8, and they actually loved it too. So
Oh, thank
it
God.
There you
holds
go.
up so well.
There
yeah.
you go.
So,
It is.
Except for they were like, "Mommy, what's tab?"
yeah.
yeah.
There's
they doing there?
there's this model that Hollywood is producing, and it's called the requel, and it's a reboot that is a sequel.
Yeah.
Right.
So it speaks to a crowd that they want to have their money, but it also acknowledges
Reintroduces it to a new generation.
yes,
Yeah.
and it acknowledges that we came first, so we also need closure or we need respect in what we view as something that's very cultural to the time. It's a genius movie in and of itself because it's pretty much improv for the first one.
Yeah.
It's very sketch comedy. It's not, and it was supposed to not be what it is.
We're
Like
talking
it's
about the Melissa McCarthy one? Which
No,
one are you talking about?
I'm
Sorry.
talking about the original.
original.
Oh, the original,
like
original.
the
Sorry,
80s,
yes,
right?
yes,
so,
yeah.
so when you go see this, when you see this new one, you see yourself,
Right.
but you also see a new story.
A new story, new
that
movie.
is
Yeah.
identical to how it was first born. So it's not ruining a thing. And if they understand this requel enough, like it's starting. Scream did the exact same
Oh
thing.
my god, I can't
Right.
wait to see that.
I haven't
Scream
seen
is
it
a
yet either.
requel, and it goes. We know we owe you, but we also need to make some money.
Can I?
Yeah.
Does Matrix Resurrection count as a requel?
No.
Ask Charles.
I would say I'm gonna say yes, but I haven't seen it yet.
I've seen
so-
it, but I
he
I
says
would,
it's a hot steaming pile
I
of
would
dog
think so.
shit.
Oh no!
This is a different conversation because I
No.
I've slightly changed my opinion on that movie, but yeah.
Regardless, I don't like new things. Change is difficult, so this works really well for
I
me. I enjoy it.
I want them to
I'm
make
stuck in my ways now.
I want them to make the Ghostbusters the way Dan Aykroyd actually wanted it to be.
In my vodka.
Where
In a
no. It
crystal
was
skull.
supposed to be set in the near future.
Yeah,
Where
there's
where
a-
where
Oh,
where
right.
He's talked about this
Ghostbusters where
before.
Ghostbusters was being a Ghostbuster was basically a career choice because there was so much paranormal activity they would have to go around and fight ghosts all
That
the
is a
time.
It was like being a firefighter.
I like it.
Yeah. That and
Which makes sense.
I could see that in like a future borderline post-apocalyptic place with kind of like throwbacks to almost cowboys and stuff. I
Right.
think that would
That
be
sounds
fucking
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like an old Western meets sci-fi thriller
Yep.
kind of thing.
Hell yes.
Like
Sign me up.
we're like it's Western music before they pull the proton pack out.
There's a series on Netflix that talks about different movies and,
Yeah.
and the real story of the development of it.
Voyeur.
Voyeur.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and there's
I've
one
seen the
about
Jaws
there's
one.
there's one about watch them all.
Okay.
They're fucking amazing.
They're
There's
like
a RoboCop
essays. Yeah.
one, and they talk to all the people that were involved, and you just get a different perspective on the evolution of how that movie actually came to fruition. And it's just
get the bones.
It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mind-boggling. Like I watch them, and I don't even pick up my phone when I'm watching them.
Interesting.
And
Wait,
that's
what?
yeah, I know.
How?
I started the Jaws one
So long.
and have just been YouTubing clips and shit and essays. I need to get back to that.
What else
for
have
sure.
you watched, Emily?
Oh, I caught up on Riverdale. Which is
What season are they
as soon as
on?
they went to G,
Six.
as soon as they went to
Wow.
G and G, I was like, I'm done.
it's so bad. I can't even like
I quit at season 2.
I'm not even sure like is it a musical anymore? So this one, this season, I think it's 6 now. It's a parallel universe, and so that was actually kind of cool. They did a parallel universe thing where like the reason they find out it's a parallel universe is because Jughead finds the comics, and so he realizes
my
that he's
God.
in. Yeah, he realizes that he's in like that. There's a comic that depicts their lives that's different, which was actually kind of cool.
That's actually
They're
kinda,
doing
that's a cool
They're
kind of
doing
premise.
like
Neat.
Spider-Man,
Yeah.
like metaverse. Like,
Yeah,
all
that
these
was kind of
things, yeah.
cool.
You know what blew my mind is I realized about I don't know probably about a year ago that the guy that plays Jughead was one of the twins.
Yeah.
From fucking
Sprouse.
from
Friends.
Big Daddy.
Oh, also the
Oh,
kid
from
from
Friends.
Are you
That's right.
serious?
Yes.
Like the one who's like eczema, gross.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
He's
also
got a
they're-
hard life.
They were in like a
blown.
Disney show. They were like big,
Yeah.
yeah, they were
Sweet
whatever
Life
that.
They
of
were
Zack and
sweet like
Cody.
of Zach and Cody.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Never. Yeah. Whoa.
Now they're teen heartthrobs.
Okay, so when Riverdale first started,
It was
I was
good.
like, okay, so
It
this
was
is
good.
obviously
Yeah.
based off the comics,
I'm
and
excited because it's my childhood.
Right.
It's gritty. It's dark. it's-
everything
yeah.
I know
It was
about
kind of film
Jughead.
noir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Jughead,
yes.
Moose, Betty, Veronica, Archie. I read on the toilet. Like
Yeah,
that was
same.
my
Yeah.
my poop
I still
reading.
have a
Yeah.
pile of Archie
Josie,
comics on my toilet.
Pussycat.
Josie and the
Josie and the
Pussycats.
Pussycats.
Everything from
Yeah.
that universe. So when I heard about this and I gave it a couple episodes, and I was like, this is nothing like a comic book.
Yep.
I was like, I want Jughead eating burgers, hanging out at a restaurant, and there's like really like it's
Jughead
inspired.
is emo and brooding.
Yes, he is. he's
Yeah.
he's dark and
He's-
disturbed.
we're also don't if you've only watched a couple seasons, we're also 10 years in the future now. Like they've all graduated high school,
Oh.
but they're adults now.
so they're using the
So they're the actual age they are now.
Yeah, they're the correct age, but they for some reason are still at Riverdale High because they're all like teachers and stuff. Anyway,
Interesting.
yeah, so there was a little bit in between where it was really bad. Like I was struggling to get through, but the first few episodes of season 6, I enjoyed. The parallel universe was cool. I gotta say, Yeah.
Interesting. I still
Um,
won't watch it.
Is anyone excited for Bel Air, which is trying to do the same thing as
No.
Riverdale?
Not really.
No,
Like
I-
the Fresh Prince
No.
remake.
Yeah.
They're doing the remake. Looks like Riverdale basically. Like
it's a dramatic version of. It's like
There's
the one
some
dramatic.
things that should never be fucking done, and you will never ever emulate the magic of Will Smith
Yeah,
in that role. So
learning how
just
to act,
don't,
Here's-
right? Like
you
he,
know?
like from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first season where he can't act at all.
Here's
Like,
here's my
one of the
theory
best
on
actors.
this.
Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil.
Those like 3 dramatic episodes where like his dad came
Carlton's
back.
so
Yeah.
fucking good. In
Carlton gets shot.
yeah, Carlton gets shot. Such a good one.
The drugs.
the drugs. Uncle Phil, I'm so sorry.
Right.
Oh, when he takes speed. When
he
Carlton
take-
takes
yeah,
speed.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because he has the Adderall.
Yeah,
in his-
yeah, yeah.
So those
Oh, fuck.
dramatic
Yeah.
episodes, I feel they are trying to
Expand.
expand
Yeah.
on.
Can't you
Yeah.
picture Will Smith with that sideways hat and like his jacket from the prep
Yeah.
school, like inside
West
out?
Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground where he
Yep.
spent most of his days chilling outside and relaxing all cool, shooting b-ball outside of the school. Like,
Exactly.
if they even touch that, I might walk off a bridge.
I have no idea what to
I might
expect.
stop eating in protest. Like,
Haven't they?
Well, I'm sure this
Is Will Smith an executive producer on it?
He is, and I think his son is the
lead.
I think one of his many
Like
Is
his older first son or Jaden.
Smith?
one
Yeah.
of them. I don't know.
And then there's Willow Smith.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna be whipping their hair back and forth.
If she steps on, it has to happen. Please, somebody just whip their hair in a scene. Gotcha, Willow. All right. So out of everything that you've digested, which is like I love it because it's like you can't
I'm
connect
all
the
over the
fucking
fucking
dots.
place. Yeah.
I was waiting for that mallet. Ladies and gentlemen, I bought a mallet because, debaters, podium, right? It's a fun prop. But I was waiting for somebody to start playing with it. It's been in here for like 5 episodes. That's the first time it's ever left the table. Anyways.
I'm trying to do the knee test. You know when you
Yeah,
pop
I know
your
you
knee,
are.
It's not working. I don't think you can do it on yourself.
From the dollar store.
I bet you I can do it if I hit it. You got to hit it in the right
Well,
spot.
you're doing it to yourself. I don't
Yeah.
think it works if you do it to yourself.
Correct. That's what I just said.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Out of everything that you've watched, what was the best and which one was it?
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Luke
how many
Cage.
dying Marvel series on Netflix out of 10 do you give it?
Only because I watched it right on the heels of Jessica Jones, which
Ties together.
And it ties together, but also from the girl power perspective and everything. I just love Jessica Jones so much. So that one, that one would be 10 out of 10 dying Netflix series. But Luke Cage is right up there. I'm going to give it 8. 8 out of 10 has been Marvel stars.
As out of all those Netflix Marvel shows, Jessica Jones season 1 has the best bad guy.
Oh yeah! Oh my God!
Mr. Purple. What's his name?
No,
Purple suit. Purple
Mr.
suit.
Pink?
No, hang on.
Mr. Brown.
I just watched it. God damn.
That actor and everything.
Kilgrave.
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 Why
That's
am
a
I
good
calling him
name.
Purple suit?
Because he wears a purple suit.
Oh, okay.
Kilgrave. Yeah.
Purple suit.
Mr. Purple,
No,
the
it's-
Joker?
I
It's
prefer
been so good.
her in the bitch in apartment 2.
Don't touch the bee in apartment 23.
Oh, that's what
I
it is.
prefer
Such a
her
good
as
show.
Jesse Pinkman's
Such
girlfriend.
a
I
good
was just going
show.
to I'm on
Yeah,
team Jesse
Pinkman's
Pinkman.
girlfriend.
She's in everything.
She's amazing.
She's
She's a
in
great
so
actor.
many things. Yeah.
Kristen
What's-
Ritter.
Kristen Ritter. That's
Yeah.
it.
Isn't is that Ritter as in John Ritter? Is there any
No.
No?
No.
She was
It's not
also
the daughter?
in Gilmore Girls.
She was in Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Really?
She's- I feel like she was also in
She was Lucy in Gilmore Girls. One of the
Devil
later
Wear
seasons.
Prada, maybe? Yeah, I could be wrong.
I think you're thinking Emily Blunt.
I probably am.
She was not in that movie.
Okay.
No.
Well,
She's an excellent though. Although I just have to say really quickly, I was watching Daredevil too, and the Matt Murdock character in Daredevil has the personality of a wet rag that's covered in mold.
yeah. Well,
that
he
show
is
really,
blind.
the show's really that show
But
is
he
really
is
good, but he's
blind.
terrible.
Wow.
I just
I don't know if this mean it might be hard for him to
have a
emote.
personality. I don't know. He just
I didn't mean it as an insult.
he's
I
like
just thought it-
he's like lukewarm borscht. I can't with it.
like he doesn't know his surrounding. Maybe it's hard for him to emote.
Ugh, I don't know.
I didn't
But
mean
the
to-
show's really good.
Just shitting on blind people in the car.
I didn't mean to.
They're not correlated. But anyway,
I know what you're saying. It's fine. Everybody does too. All right. Rob, you want to go next? Or you want me to go next?
I can go.
You can go. You can go.
So this week I watched the Paw Patrol movie 7 times.
Oh yeah.
This is
Have you gotten away without watching Encanto? Because I've been my kids.
No.
have
You're
been
pushing
watching
it
that
off?
One.
No,
no,
no.
we've been watching that one on repeat.
No, we my daughter is obsessed with Paw Patrol.
Hell yeah.
Lucy is she's
She-
all paw.
Yeah, like that buying that movie for $14.99 on Prime was the greatest investment that I've ever made in the history of the world. But that aside, things that I watched this week. So I crushed season 2, 3, and 4 of Cobra Kai.
Oh
wow.
yeah.
Man, you know what? It's not often that a show actually gets better.
I watched the first 2 episodes of the latest season.
You know,
I haven't caught up.
and don't get me wrong. Does it have like kind of like the cheese dick fucking like teen comedy or teen drama kind of shit going on? Yeah, it does. But and are the fights terrible? Totally. Is karate really a super effective martial arts? Probably fucking not. Okay? It ain't jujitsu and shit.
Who are you?
But fuck, man, I love it. I just love it. I love how they like bring in the different characters. I love John Kreese in it. They fucking like it's so good. And then the way it ends at the very end, I won't ruin it for anyone that hasn't seen it. I was just like, fuck yeah, Miyagi-Do coming back.
So
I was like
season-
so jacked at the end of season 4. I'm like excited about season 5.
Oh, so there is a season 5. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
man.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I watched Cobra Kai, and I mean I know that's a lot of what else I watched? I watched The King, which is a movie from a couple years ago
Chalamet?
with Timothy Chalamet. It was good. I mean, Micheal goes, I want to watch a medieval movie. I was like, what about this one? And then she
What made her say that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe because we watched Wheel of Time.
Okay, sure. So
Okay.
she
Oh, yeah, okay.
because
And you chose the king.
Well, I really wanted to watch Excalibur, but I couldn't find it on any streaming
so
services.
good.
And I
Whoa,
have
deep
Excalibur
cut.
on Blu-ray, but it's in a box up in my office, and I didn't want to dig around.
it doesn't
for
get
it.
opened up.
I see.
It hasn't cracked the seal.
No, it's been open.
Oh, it's been open? Okay.
Fuck you a bit.
Well, that's right. No, you're the one who has 3 copies sometimes of.
No,
No,
that's not me.
Who was that on that episode?
That was me that bought a bunch of because I would see
That's
something
me.
on
It's
sale.
me.
I would see something on sale. Remember when all the blockbusters went out of business?
Yes,
They were
that
selling-
was you.
So I was one of those people who would drive around and be like, I'm buying all these movies for 70% off. But then I got
What
them
an
all home, and then I
investment.
was like, fuck, I own like 4 of the same one like 3 or 4 times over. So then I had to sell them later. Anyway, I digress.
Your life sounds hard.
He's the garage sale king of Wolseley, guys.
Right. I see.
I don't pay retail for nothing.
Right. $14.99 for Paw Patrol.
Yeah, except for that.
Yeah, but I've gotten easily $1,000 worth out of it.
That's an that pays dividends.
Like literally, there's some days, no word of a lie, Ian, that movie will be played 3 times back to back. And
I
when-
love that you're like Gary V of like fucking buying DVDs.
Yes, he is.
I appreciate that. I like Gary V, so thank you very much.
Gary V's a hero of mine. I
Yeah.
dig the guy.
You know what? And it's funny because I was thinking back when I was a kid, and when my parents first got a VCR, I guess I would have been like 82 or something, so I was like 3 years old. And the video store we went to was actually Kron's, which was actually like a audio video store you bought TVs
Yeah, I
and
remember
stuff.
Kron's.
But they also were a video store, and we used to go there. And every weekend we'd go and rent movies. And every weekend my dad would be like, well, what do you want to rent, Rob? And I'd be like, Mighty Mouse. And he was like, again? And I would watch Mighty Mouse all the fucking time. And
It's such a good. I want to watch
and-
that tonight. Now
and-
I want Mighty
and
Mouse.
My parents would get so fucking annoyed because they'd have to
Here I
watch
come
it
to
again.
Save the day.
But in retrospect, I get it now because my
Yeah.
daughter's 2.5 and she's like obsessed. And she literally just wants the movie playing, and she'll come and she'll watch it for like a 10 minutes, but then go and like literally sit in the same room but play with the Paw Patrol toys while the movie's on in the background. and then
the
just
predictability.
It's just
repetition.
She loves it.
Yeah.
She loves it, and she
the sound to emotional attachment ratio can be felt in other rooms.
Yes.
She can do 2 things
The
at
other
once.
thing
like
is,
I get it.
is there's a lot worse shows out there that I
Right.
could be forced to have to watch all the time.
Right.
And at least this one is a
Growing on
team
you.
working together, trying to solve problems and being generally good. Whereas there's some shows on Netflix and on these streaming services where there's a bratty, annoying character that gets kind of like
Caillou.
Yeah.
Caillou.
Riverdale.
Oh,
Riverdale.
totally.
So what are you trying to say?
So at least there's some positivity.
Paw
in that.
Patrol is on a roll.
Paw Patrol is on the roll. Rubble on the double.
I have this vision in my head that you were like, Daddy paid $14.99 for this, and you have to watch it at least 5 times a day for me to get my money worth.
No. We were gonna rent it one time.
Watch the screen, Lucy.
and-
Lucy, don't look at me.
so-
Watch the screen.
So we were gonna watch it for $4.99, and then I said, and then Micheal goes, hey Micheal, we could just buy it for $14.99. She's like, buy it. We're gonna watch this thing a million times. And that forecast or prophecy has come true. What else have I watched? The other thing I watched was a Megan Fox, Bruce Willis movie the other day.
I saw that on Netflix.
The Sweetgrass.
That's-
Sweetgrass
yes, yes, yes.
one.
Tell
Okay,
me,
okay,
yes,
we're-
no?
we're-
This is a true story too.
Okay, so a couple things. So first off, this is another one of those movies that Bruce Willis is the star in, but actually is in almost none of the fucking movie just to put his face on it. And because he's basically become the king of fucking straight to video fucking shitty movies.
Straight to streaming is
remember when
Mr. Willis.
Remember when he used to be a fucking movie star? Not really anymore. And that's kind of disappointing. But it was okay. It was just okay.
It looks
So
okay.
if you want something like I love thrillers and I love cop thrillers and that search and the hunt and serial killers.
David Finch is his spirit animal.
It's okay.
Fincher.
Aw.
Fincher.
It's
Yeah.
just okay. Like the acting is kind of it's like CD like C or D kind of rating.
too bad.
The dialogue is choppy. The story jumps too quickly in certain places, and there isn't proper cadence with the story and the flow and stuff like that. The last scene is the last few scenes are pretty good. Machine Gun Kelly playing a fucking pimp is hilarious.
That I saw a clip and I didn't know where that was from.
He might actually be one of the best parts of the entire movie. Megan Fox was actually surprisingly okay considering what she's played in the past.
Right.
So-
but all in all, if you got an hour and 45 minutes to blow,
Short one.
Maybe.
So maybe unpopular opinion. I actually think Megan Fox is a
good
very
actor.
good actor.
I agree. I actually have said the same thing.
I really like
Yeah.
her. I really enjoy her in almost everything she's done.
Same.
Like, I think she's got a really interesting range. I think she's beautiful, obviously.
Jennifer's Body. Great
Jennifer's
movie.
Body is an
Great movie.
exceptional
That
movie.
she's
yeah.
good in that.
It's
Yes.
such an underrated.
Yes.
I feel that movie is
That
on
came up
the
between
on ramp to go
Transformers,
cult.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She-
it was a Juno writer
It was
follow-up.
freaking awesome.
April O'Neil.
She's honestly
Right.
she's in a few seasons of New Girl.
Yes.
And she's so fucking good in that
She
too.
replaced Zoe while she was pregnant.
She was pregnant,
Yeah.
and then she stuck around for a bit. Her character's so interesting. Like I really
She's also
I wanna-
engaged to Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
and apparently her engagement ring causes pain if you try to take it off. He had it made with like thorns in it, so that
Yeah,
if she
that-
tries to take it off,
and
it hurts her.
that's an important fact when talking about someone's acting career.
Yeah. But she's engaged
That's
to
some
a guy.
natural born killers
She's
kind of shit.
engaged
How
to a
dare
guy
you
who
take
tries
off
to,
this
like-
ring?
Yeah.
But baby, it was gonna pull my hair. No, you never take the ring.
Love
off.
is pain. Ay, ay, ay.
Order in the courts.
No, I feel that both of them may have, because I've looked at that movie a couple times this week, and I've been like, yeah, I
I think I'm
get.
gonna watch it anyway.
I think that had both names attached to it, and Netflix is trying. Like, what I think is, and
Well,
this
Bruce Willis's picture's huge.
Yeah.
it's huge. So
It's huge. It's like his face. You're like, oh, well, Bruce Willis must be the main guy. Not the main guy. Emil Hirsch is
I don't-
actually the more main,
I love Emil Hirsch.
more of the lead.
I don't want to go down like a
hate
stupid
his
rabbit
mustache
hole on
in the
this,
movie,
but
though.
I have this theory that Netflix will calculate how much it costs to make the movie versus how many subscribers that movie will
sure.
pull, and they've got the data on that, and
Red
those
Notice.
to me
Yeah.
feel like $30 million advertisements, not films that are worth watching. It's part of the fodder that is Netflix that it is built on.
100%. I was in
So-
New York
Yeah.
like a week before Red Notice came out, and that like Times Square was loaded with all
Red
advertisements.
Notice Central.
And I've only heard, I haven't watched that movie. To be
I
fair.
actually really liked that movie.
Well, okay, I've heard like it's such like a like point by point book.
It
Like
was
it's
so
like
fun.
so basic like of a movie.
Here's
It's
a
nothing
movie.
special.
it was so fun
Yeah.
though.
You won't have any problems figuring this out,
No.
and by the third
Well,
act,
that's
you'll
the
know
thing.
exactly
I was like,
how it ends.
I was super high when I watched it,
Yeah.
and it was perfect.
Well, that's the thing. I love all those actors.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to watch it, but I also know
you
what
want to
it's gonna
see
be.
those actors play together, but
Yeah.
we all know that was like, well, this is $200 million
Yeah.
that will
It's like
make
the
us a
Expendables.
billion.
It is the Expendables.
Yeah.
That's a
It's,
very good
it's
comparison.
fucking popcorn movie.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, sweet. You've taken all the action stars, put them in a movie where they blow a bunch of shit up
Yep.
and fight a predictable bad guy. Love it.
Yep.
Let's do it. And there's no expectations because your expectations are low.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they deliver on all the points that they promise to deliver on, and don't try to overpromise something that is unrealistic for
Yep.
that type of movie.
How many?
And that's why Fast and the Furious does so well, and I
Yep.
fucking
Yeah.
love those movies.
I love
I
them
agree.
too.
I love them too.
Love them too.
How many Eagle Hawk?
Please come back, The Rock, and be in the next one.
How many Eagle Hawk versus Miyagi Do's out of 10 do you give?
You mean Eagle Fang?
Is it Eagle Fang? I'm sorry. He just made up Eagles don't have fangs. Whatever. Johnny's the best. Like John.
I loved him. I loved him when he was in How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
And then this Cobra Kai thing came, and I was like, yeah.
He still comes back. Yeah.
He's also 57 years old.
He looks
Funny
great.
how I Met
Yeah,
Your
man.
Mother.
Yeah.
just
So,
crushing.
so does fucking what's his face?
I think he doesn't look as good.
Machio?
I think
Machio looks
I
worse.
think- I
Machio's
think Mach-
61, dude.
I think I know, but Machio like doesn't even look like he should be doing karate. Like he looks so skinny and
he looks
torn.
he looks like he
Has
is
arthritis? Yeah.
Arthritic.
I
yeah.
love
Yeah.
that they got Elizabeth Shue back for season 3.
That and
Nice.
that was just enough shoe.
That was
2
enough-
episodes on a date with Johnny.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Pull the yarn, get us interested.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Like
anyways,
one
answer
pair at
my
least, yeah.
question. How many Eagle Fang versus Miyagi Do's out of 10?
How many
do you
pairs of
For what?
shoes?
for Karate Kid?
You mean for Cobra Kai?
Cobra Kai, yeah.
Well, what do you
It's
think of
all
Karate-
the same
Well, Have you seen
thing.
Karate Kid? No, I'm kidding.
Have you seen a Karate
Have
Kid?
I seen Karate Kid?
Yeah.
I'm 42 years old. Karate Kid was made for me.
Because you crushed 3 seasons.
I would give it 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean, like, is it the greatest TV show I've ever seen? No. Does it bring back to a nostalgic time? Yes. Do I enjoy the episodes? Yes. Are they easily digestible? Yes. Are they funny? Yes. Can I still play on my phone while watching them and not lose the context of the storyline?
yes.
That's key.
Been doing a lot of that lately.
Oh, the other thing that I've watched really quickly is I'm halfway through the Eternals.
Halfway
So
through.
you've met
Well,
5
no.
characters so far?
Yeah.
No. So because I was falling asleep last
I
night.
was gonna
really
say
tired.
napping throughout it.
Yeah.
No. I kind of don't mind it.
I watched The Eternals this week too. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be like several shows though. I think instead of like
It probably
one movie.
would have been better that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll close this bitch down. We've crushed like a ton of stuff. We just redid our Game of Thrones watch,
Nice.
start to finish. And
You watched season 8? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, and I want to talk about that for a second. As a person who's aged a little bit, maybe found a little bit of wisdom because I talk about film and television with my friends all the time. And
They need to release a
learn.
4K HDR version of it. Maybe it'll look okay.
Yeah. There's that. That's a
And,
definite.
but you'd also have to
critique.
watch it on the right TV.
Again, definitely. That one episode is just too technically challenging for the average person with the average television to enjoy.
With 720p cable, absolutely.
It was just.
Being upscaled to a bad 4K
Are we talking
TV.
about?
We're talking about the
dark episode?
The dark
Yeah, yeah,
episode.
yeah. Okay.
But I rewatched it, and as somebody who stepped away from it and then came back to it and had forgotten enough about it, I was like, you know what? As much as we don't get the comeuppance from the characters we want to receive or have it bestowed upon them, it's still a good season. It just separates from 7 years of television. Like, it's just this hard switch, and you as a person watching it have to mentally prepare. Like, it's I enjoyed it more on my second watch is the point I'm saying, because I got over what I wasn't given and then went, okay, I'm going to watch this for what it is, and I'm like, it's not as bad as everybody wants to say. But
can I say one thing?
Yeah,
Imagine you watched 80% of a movie, but then the last 20% of the movie you watched on speed 1.5. That's basically what that last season is.
And I agree with you 100% because while watching it, I was still aware. I was even hyper aware now of
We
all
did a
of these
1-month
mistakes.
journey in 2 days.
Right? Yeah. These things that other people had said, I had now seen and went, okay. So taking it in its entirety helped the second watch of season 8, but season 8 is still broken in a lot of ways.
I don't hate it as much as other people, but I get it.
Those showrunners were in a rush.
Yep.
To make
Star
their
Wars.
Star Wars trilogy, which never came to fruition.
because they rushed
And
Game of Thrones.
Fuck you guys. And George R. R. Martin has publicly said now that was not the plan.
He
that
wanted
they-
2 more seasons
Correct.
and
that was
10
the
episodes
plan
a
that they had
season.
agreed to, and HBO was online, and those guys fucked it.
Like, I'm not worried about
Sorry,
him
I cut
making
you
more
off.
seasons.
Oh, no, that's fine.
I want him to write more books. Because
Yeah.
Never gonna happen.
I'm not okay with that.
I'm mad
That's
because
going to his grave.
I've reread that series twice, and
Yeah.
I feel like I committed so much of my time.
Agreed.
into it.
I've read so
I'm
much.
happy I've now
I've spent
read it.
You know
so
what?
much time on it.
Just read Wheel of Time again.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
The
I actually have those on deck, ready to go again.
the
I'm on
other
book 11 right now.
the other thing I'm enjoying, and it's getting. I've been reading a lot of people are shitting on it, but I'm like, I don't see how you can shit on it. Well, I can see, but it's not worth anybody's time. Boba Fett is fucking awesome.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
The first episode was great. I'm kind of over Star Wars right now.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
everybody has a
I still haven't
tolerance.
been able to get into Mandalorian.
Yeah, same.
So again, that's fine because it was so saturated in the market for so long that like these are the better ones because both Mandalorian and I heard an episode of Fat Man, David Klein, the cinematographer, who's on Mandalorian, works with Favreau and Filoni, is on Boba Fett, doing the second season of Mandalorian right now, and they ask one
season?
thing: second season Mandalorian.
I thought they already.
There's 2 seasons.
There's,
already.
there's 2.
Sorry, you're right. Fuck,
Yeah,
they were so
season-
quick.
Like I haven't even seen the second
They're
season.
so
I know
well
that.
written; they just blend together. But anyways, what he was saying was we ask one question every time we shoot this, which is what would George do? So watching,
Make it kind of shitty.
yeah, but okay, watching Boba Fett. Hang
too-
on.
too soon?
Hang on.
Too soon.
So watching Boba Fett is the world of Star Wars all over again with a budgeted treatment that makes it really good, but puppeteering is still being used. Practical effects. The Bantha
Yeah.
that you see that he's riding on is 4 people with 2 people at a control board because that's what Lucas would do. But
No, it wasn't. He dressed up a fucking elephant.
sure, okay. But it would be practical. It would be on the screen. And then
Right.
what they do is they
I don't think he
take
dressed up an elephant. I think I just made that up.
I wish he did.
You said it with authority, though, so it's believable.
He dressed up little
confidence.
people. He didn't dress up an elephant. He dressed up little people. Let's be honest, George. You were an asshole. But like,
You mean Jawas now, or you're?
What-
I think you're confused.
I don't wanna make this political.
Tatooine species now.
it's first of all, it's a lot of things, but it's a crime version of Star Wars
Well,
instead of a good guy version of Star Wars. You
Yes.
have crime lords. You have these things called Diomi. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, the ones with all the modifications.
no, like the
no.
titles, like
Oh, the domos.
Diamos.
Dimos.
So like Boba Fett is
They're like
a
crime
Diamo,
bosses.
and he's taken over Jabba's
Yeah.
syndicate. And he's
Okay,
got
stop
like
ruining
but like
it.
I'm not ruining
Okay,
it. This is just a
spoilers.
very basic plot. But what
Yeah.
you get is you get like 4 days after he falls in the Sarlacc pit. This is where this
Oh yeah,
picks up.
picks right up.
Yeah.
So it's going back to
I saw the scene where like he's in the belly and you see like the
Yes.
other stormtrooper.
I don't want to ruin that for you. I don't
Yeah.
want to ruin
And
that for
that's
anybody because
canon too, by the
that's
way.
canon.
Yeah.
That's graphic
Yeah.
novel. That's
Yeah.
comic book. There's a lot there.
Can I ask you one question though? When you say what would George Lucas do? What would George do? Is this what would George do in 1976?
Yeah, that's the
Or
thing.
what would George
Yeah.
do in 1996?
Or 2001. where
Because
it's
what
like,
would-
yeah.
because what would George do in 1976? I agree with. What would George do in 1976? Fuck that guy.
What would George do in 1990 whatever? Sell to Disney.
Yeah.
No, not
right.
that.
Yeah.
They
That was-
just
that
look.
was 2014.
I know what you're saying. They
Well, you know
look
exactly
at-
what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying. And they look at the tools they have today and they go, okay, how would we do what George did, but with a more advanced version, but still respecting how it was done to begin with, because those like us in the room were watching for that. That's what
Right.
we were treated with. So when you take it onto that huge, and they call it the venue, I think it's called, or the wall, how they're shooting it.
Yeah.
Which
The,
is like the giant green screen that
Whatever it's called. Yeah, I
ILM
know,
came
yeah.
up with. Fuck, man, this
yeah,
thing.
with the things that move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they were talking about how they do it. So what they do is they animatic everything
Yep.
before, shoot that, use that to superimpose, and then work in Unreal Engine to treat it so that it works.
That's so cool.
They're designing what goes on the screen. They can move it in real time, but it has to be designed from an animatic up. Otherwise, it doesn't play. And then they use the story art that you see at the end, just like they're doing in Mandalorian. Like, it is just a fun fucking Star Wars show. It is. You hear about Bib Fortuna, which was the big white testicle head guy, the big long tentacles or whatever. Like, Danny Trejo's a Rancor trainer in it. Like, it is these things that you had like a blip of in Return of the Jedi.
Absolutely. And you're getting like more backstory of them too. Like even the Rancor, right? You're
Yeah.
supposed to learn that they have these like personalities.
Well, you find out why the guy cried in Return when his
Yeah.
Rancor died. In episode 3, you
Yeah.
find out the backstory of the Rancor, and you're like,
which is really cool.
I would-
The Sand People, right?
Yes.
You got this whole rich, like beautiful backstory of like the people who are native to the sand dunes.
you want to
and-
talk about like what's really cool? All those sand people are the top female stunt performers in the industry right now.
Oh, really?
Well, if
That is
they're
super
all
cool.
women and they're all choreographing all the fight stuff on the show, but they get to go and be the sand people in those scenes. So he's just getting shit kicked. Yeah.
It,
Yeah,
like,
it's
it's the
super
only
cool.
it's the only
Yeah.
Star Wars show, like even before you started talking, that has like given me any interest to actually watch it. Like Mandalorian like sounded cool
Because
only-
Boba Fett's the coolest
well, that's
fucking
the thing.
character.
Yeah, like well, like, and I
Absolutely.
don't. I'm one of those people that was
next
like,
to Han Solo.
I was never like a Boba Fett fan. Where I
hottest
was
and
like,
coolest.
why is he cool? Like I was always one of those people. So now this gives me like at least an aspect or a point of view where I'm
It's-
like, oh, okay, I
It's
get it.
world building.
It's world
Yeah.
building.
Dave Filoni, like, if you don't know how he came to be, listener, it's pretty fucking cool. He was a hang-around. He was a cord puller. He was a guy that,
Was he a grip?
yeah, he was so low on the production line, but knows everything. And, like,
Do you
got
think if
the...
Ryan Johnson directed this, it would be better? The answer is no.
No. I... Yeah. Thank you. I didn't have to say it. It's just
I
it's,
do
he's
love Looper, though.
he's what Kevin Feige is to Marvel.
And Knives
Dave
Out.
Filoni is what Kevin Feige is to Marvel that he is to Star Wars. He's just a wealth of knowledge and a fan and a
Sweet.
guy who's like, you don't do that.
Right.
Don't this will
That's
cost you marks.
This isn't CGI worthy. This is fucking let's
Yeah.
do fucking miniatures
Yeah.
and fucking puppeteering.
Right.
They have
Let's get
Phil
the Jim
guys
Henson shit out
Phil
here.
Tippett's back for the last week's episode. Like
So what's his thoughts on Han Solo stepping on Jabba Hutt's tail in fucking the remake of A New Hope?
such a useless scene. I'm learning that there's only so much
Disney
time.
just needs to fucking remove that from fucking Disney Plus.
Yeah, no, don't have that version
it
online.
It makes me angry. I actually fast forward it now when I watch it.
There's
Like,
a
are you
lot.
talking about all those added scenes from the 90s?
Yeah.
yeah.
The
No,
added
not all the added scenes are bad.
I think most of them are.
But it's that
Digitally
run.
Yeah, I remember which
that-
one.
that
Yeah,
one
that
really
one.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
The Death Stars blowing up are way fucking cooler in
Yeah,
the
there's
in the
there's
redux.
there's times it has its moments. But.
Filoni and Favreau are my heroes. Boba Fett is fun. To all you out there who are giving it shit right now and being like, it's not doing what I want it to do. It's doing exactly what you want it to do. It's just taking a long fucking time to get there because they have the time. If you're given 6 hours to tell a story versus 2, Ian, you know this among everybody.
I've seen nothing.
No, but I'm just saying,
Kidding,
as someone
kidding,
who
yeah.
makes
No,
stuff
yeah.
and has to edit and
Yeah.
call and organize
Yeah.
the story and the idea that you want to present, you only have 2 hours to do that in a feature. You can't like Eternals is the example of what happens when you pack in 10 characters and go care for them all. So
Yeah.
now
It's
you
like,
get
it's like, do you want a novel or a novella?
Well,
novella.
Novella.
Oh, that's what they
Several short stories, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that all intersect.
Yeah.
That have a front and a back and a great fucking midsection like this.
A great fucking midsection.
And
Yeah.
and then goes, yeah, okay. Oh, look, those are speeder bikes. That's exactly what George Lucas would do.
Yeah.
And they're like
George Lucas 76.
yeah. And they would be on like a Buick, and then they would just like cut everything out, right? Like it
Right.
would be whatever. So like out of
How many bantha fodders?
banthas?
Bantha fodders.
how many times Boba Fett's gonna take off that fucking helmet because apparently Mandalorians aren't supposed to.
Yeah.
Like that's what the best part is of the whole show
Yeah,
is
but Boba Fett,
he's not a Mandalorian.
He's not a Mandalorian.
Right.
And he's a badass motherfucker.
Yeah.
He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
But like there's how many banthas? How many?
Boba Fett's just a dumb clone.
They go back, man. I don't want to ruin it for you. I will give it 8.5.
Wow.
nice.
8.5
we
banthas.
could do
It's
half
the
marks.
only one I
Yeah,
want to watch.
that's fine. You can,
Yeah.
I don't suggest half a bantha, but I mean
only the front half.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably better.
But man, like when they show him sauntering through the desert and
Yes.
like it's fucking slow.
Yeah.
Like he sees a
I saw that. Yeah.
he sees a problem over a mountain and like he clearly has to like get off the bantha and
run.
like kilometers
Oh, it's-
because if he stays on the bantha,
Yeah.
everything will be burnt by the time he gets there.
This is a problem that needs to be dealt with now, not 5 days from now.
Like they're the fucking Cadillac of the desert. They are not the Porsche, right? You want a speeder bike to navigate, and it's Mos Espa, it's Mos Eisley,
Eisley.
it's Tatooine.
Yes.
Like it is all. It's like that's where fucking Han shot first.
Right.
Like you're in it again. It's the world.
Tatooine that for some reason if there's a planet that's closest to the center of the universe, or the center of the universe is the planet it's farthest from, and yet everything fucking happens on Tatooine.
Yeah.
Right? So obviously that's not true at all. Like get out of
Because
here,
Coruscant's
Luke.
boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although the new ones, I like Crate out of the new series of planets.
Which
the
is
planet where it's
Crate?
like sand, but then when you dig
Oh,
it,
the
it
white
becomes
sand?
the
The
white
red
sand.
sand?
The
Yeah.
red sand.
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
like Crate.
Ryan
seeing-
Johnson?
Like you're talking.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like salt basically?
It's salt.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
salt
it was
mines.
salt.
Salt mines of
It's
Crate.
The
salt mine.
reason they did that though is because when I first saw it, I was like, "Are they on fucking Hoth?" And then you're like, "Wait a second, they're
Oh,
not."
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
because it was a throwback to Hoth, and that's what he was trying to elicit. He was trying to elicit an emotional response to people that love Empire, and then you get disappointed after.
Yeah.
But then they like
I love how
He
much
shoots
he
up
jerks
all-
you
it
right to the
shoots
end
up
and
all-
then walks away.
You guys are too harsh. Shut up. I didn't mind it. I'm not a hater on it,
Hey.
but I'm not a lover either. So I'm fine with it.
All right. So that's
Are we going to talk about the questions now?
yeah, we are.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. That's a
Yay.
watch list in the can. So
That was an intense watch.
That was
list.
a
It
lot.
was.
Yeah, but I guess we haven't seen each other in a while, and it's been Christmas holidays, so we probably all watched a bunch.
yeah. Like I used to think that we had to keep it a secret when we recorded from the listener, but I don't care anymore. So
I only
like,
talked
it's
about
been-
things I
yeah,
watched in the
like-
last 5 days. We're allowed to go all the way back to Christmas.
Oh, dude, you can
Yeah.
like what you watched on the toilet this morning.
I
would
was
be-
surprised,
would be
honestly, you didn't talk
kosher.
about Spider-Man.
TikTok. I watched TikTok on the
Well,
toilet this
see,
morning.
there's
I did, but I saw all this stuff after I saw Spider-Man.
I see.
Here's the thing.
And I
about
feel like Spider-Man's already been talked about probably a ton
no,
on the show.
it actually hasn't.
What?
and
I think
that's
we
the-
have,
We,
yeah.
we haven't done a so like yeah. Like
He's doing the meme right now.
we haven't
You
we
can't
haven't
tell.
done one yet. So we're going to. It's just a matter of getting everybody involved because it would be like some of us would be on Zoom, some of us would be here in the room. So, but I do want to do like a stupid Spider-Man episode and just
Yeah.
like deep dive on that.
Stupid Spider-Man episode's a great name for it.
There it is, the stupid Spider-Man episode.
I think I had a shit-eating grin on my face the entire time I watched that fucking movie.
Isn't that your usual face?
Yeah, no, it works. Anyways, yeah. So Rob, you mentioned we're going to talk about the shit this week. So, like I mentioned, this is a collection
Family
of
Court of 5th District,
ideas,
Los
topics
Angeles County
that
now in
have
session.
trended
The
on
Honorable
certain
Marvin Munson
websites.
presiding. All right.
And, for that matter, we shall begin. The first one I thought, because like I never watched it, I only saw a couple of the skits from it, but MacGruber's getting a TV show.
MacGruber.
Right, and it's been a minute since something really big from SNL.
Is Ryan Phillippe going to be in it?
I think he is in it.
Because he was in the movie.
Yeah, I think he's in it.
Is he
Really?
still around?
I think so. Yeah, I think
course
he's in
he
it when I
is.
saw
Yeah,
the trailer.
he's Sarah Michelle Gellar's nanny.
He's a Howard Stern super fan.
Yeah, is he?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Fun
He-
fact.
Because wasn't he married to Reese
Reese
Witherspoon?
Witherspoon.
Yeah,
Was
they-
it Reese
they-
Witherspoon?
Yeah,
they have two
yeah.
kids
That's
together.
sorry. That's who.
I
that's
know.
what
I knew
meant.
what you meant.
Thank
Listen,
you.
we all seen
Yeah.
Cruel Intentions.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I did. I did.
Cruel Intentions. That's
Yeah.
what. Yeah.
I know. Selma Blair. Sarah
That's a
Michelle
great
Gellar.
fucking movie.
That is a great movie.
It's
That's
a great
that
movie.
needs a rewatch for sure.
It's
Thank you for not seeing a remake because it's actually already a remake.
Is it a Charles Dickens?
No, it's a remake of Dangerous Liaisons.
Oh, okay. I
With
always thought it was a
Michelle
Charles
Pfeiffer
Dickens story.
And who's the Lenny guy?
Kravitz.
Um,
The
John Malkovich.
Oh, that's an extremely horny movie, and I saw that when I was 13 with my parents.
It's an extremely horny movie, but so is Cruel Intentions.
Yeah.
No, that's the movie I saw.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With my parents in the
Dangerous
theaters.
Liaisons.
Yeah,
I
because
saw it.
Dangerous Liaisons came out in like 84.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
was
I wasn't-
like,
I wasn't
"Oh,
alive."
It's like,
Wow.
Ian's quite that
Wowzers.
old.
So horny and cocaine. This is going back to pre-show talk. I
Pre-show
feel there.
conversation.
So we'll bring it back to. So what I thought was it's been a minute since because SNL was pumping out like movies for a long time, and I think this is the first time they've ever done a TV show, if I'm not mistaken.
But it
Like,
was already a movie, and now it's being turned into a TV show.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason is because of Last Man on Earth.
yes,
Yes.
how well that
How
did.
that did, and maybe that would translate over.
Well, he's going to be on.
And there's
Forte's going to be on SNL in like a week or so. And I can't wait to see that. So this is kind of where all this kind of sparked from. So that being said, is there an older SNL skit that you think like Fresh Pepper? Like, should that be a movie? Like those guys having a movie or a TV show? Like, what's Emily? What's
like
like?
the
What would
juice.
you like to see kind of like taken from today's SNL and?
I don't know if it would make a good TV show, but like my favorite SNL sketch is Celebrity Jeopardy. So, and I mean,
Good
but,
point, yeah.
But with like, I don't know if it would make a
You
good.
ruled the day you crushed me, Trebek.
Exactly. And so I don't know if it's make a good TV show, but
the only
especially
impression I
now
can
that
do
like
well.
Alex Trebek just died, right? And so there's new hosts on Jeopardy and stuff. Maybe there's some tie in there where you could.
Kurt Ferguson should be a character.
Kurt Ferguson.
But
yeah.
but you can't do it now.
Oh, you're right. He's
We've lost the guy who he was impersonating.
Yeah.
We
You
lost the guy who did the
You
impression.
lost
Yeah.
arguably one of the funniest parts of that.
Agreed.
skit.
Yeah. Yes. So I mean,
I'll take.
What's the difference between?
yeah. So
I can't remember the punchline, but your mother's a whore.
What's the difference between your mother and a mallard with a cold? And then he says, "Well, one's a sick duck, and I don't know what the other one is, but your mother's a whore." That's that punchline.
That's great.
Okay, so like,
Suck it, Trebek.
would you like to see it like be where it's Trebek and Connery against like it comes out of
Yeah, like
like
Should
it's
be like quiz show.
Yeah, that's-
like a quiz
yeah.
show where but and or maybe just like going back to
How about those? How
like
about those
Helen
characters?
Felt?
But to the Scott Pilgrim versus the World fucking kind of like fight scenes.
going back and forth. Yeah, I don't know if it would make the right TV show. Maybe this, like, the making of, or like this backstory behind why they had the animosity, or something like that might be fun.
yeah, like there has because those two had the biggest feud out of any sketch.
Yeah.
There was no bigger feud than
Darren Hammond is amazing.
he was just a fucking genius at that character, and like half drawing the answer so that he could always fill in like tits. and like fucking up the categories. Like what is it? La Tits Now,
The
Yeah,
tits
yeah.
now.
or an anal bum cover. It's album cover, Mr. It's an anal bum cover. Spent the greater part of my life trying to invent one, and not doing so was my greatest regret. Like
Yeah.
these are moments that are clip frozen in time. Right there, it is.
Remember when
Yes.
Jimmy? Remember when Jimmy Fallon played French Stewart?
And Ben Stiller played Tom Cruise.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Right, like
that's so
the-
funny.
Whoever they had on, so like you could pull from all the people
Yeah.
who've been guests and have them show up as their characters in this.
Yeah,
I feel it could be a
it-
short or a movie.
You know what it is? It's the Between Two Ferns movie.
Oh my
That's
god.
what it is.
Yes.
It's very similar. It's something like that. You know,
The
where
problem
they-
is Alec Baldwin has played so many different Celebrity Jeopardy characters.
Right.
So he would have to.
Tony
like,
Bennett. This is
he-
Tony
'cause he
Bennett.
did Tony Bennett. There's another couple ones.
Also, I'm sure he's retired from acting now.
Yeah. Alec
Yes,
Baldwin.
yeah, he's taking a knee.
taking a beat.
But this could be his Phoenix moment.
Give it another 2 years.
Remember when
Yeah,
I was
let's-
funny and not a murderer?
Do you remember sweaty balls? Just remember, like, that's all he wants to be known for now is sweaty balls.
It's only. Let's just get it straight. It's only murder if there's intent. Isn't it really just manslaughter?
Yeah, fair enough.
that's
We had a
how,
whole
yeah.
episode where we talked about this.
We did
one.
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
It was
us
a while
getting
ago.
racy. Okay, so yeah, no, I think Celebrity Jeopardy would.
As long as
be,
you weren't getting trigger happy.
No, no. Oy,
Womp,
I would
Did I say something inappropriate?
punny fuck. I want to see, and it's funny you bring this up. I want to see where we get. I want Weekend Update, is what I want, and I want it to be like an In Between Two Ferns thing, where Lorne is
Who on Weekend Update?
Jost. Well, everybody actually. This is where you could do a lot
How
of
far
things.
back?
As far back as Chevy Chase
Chevy?
is willing
Chevy
to
Chase,
agree to do. But I
The
mean,
problem is Chevy Chase will want like $30 million.
he would want way too much money. But okay, so you've got Miller. You could do. You
Dennis
could get,
Miller would be fucking great.
Dennis Miller would be great. Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Colin Jost, Michael Che,
Fallon,
Fallon, and
Aykroyd.
And the one who he'd be like, you're a fucking bitch. The one he used to do it with, the blonde.
I can't remember
What was
her
her name?
name. I'm brain farting.
Anyways, I think
Yeah.
Lauren should sit down with Jost and Che and be like, I want you to go out into the world and I want you to get stories of Americans. And I don't know if what impression I was doing there. But the point is he's like, I want you to go and get stories from the towns instead of just doing the headlines. And then they have to like come up with a show and a sketch and send back the tape every time they go to like Podunk America.
Just
or,
like your run of the mill, like what's Joe doing down the street this week?
exactly right, like street interviews, and like they go out and talk to the people that they constantly make fun of, or like Jost has to get an interview with Trump, right? Like all of the things that they've done on the show that have like bit them in the ass, I feel would be a really funny movie where they go out into the world and then they're like, oh, you're those two assholes that make fun of us all the time. And then they learn maybe from America, or they run into like awkward moments, like, but it's just a collection while being a topical sketch about what's going on in America. Instead of sitting from their thrones and making fun of it all, they have to go be a part.
Get your hands dirty.
Get your hands dirty, Jost, right? You Harvard bitch. Like you're with ScarJo. I mean, I love you and you're a great writer, but like you go and mingle with the common folk that you make fun
What would
of.
the story arc of that movie be, though? I feel like you're almost proposing just like a series of short little.
Maybe a web
interludes.
series would be what I'm
Like
getting
I don't,
at.
I
Like,
don't see how that could be a movie with like a villain and a
Maybe they
and a
learn.
third
Well, the
act.
villain
they
is
learn
Lord. The
something
villain
about
is
their
Lord.
lives as
yeah,
they go.
Maybe they come back to the show with a heart, and they've
Okay.
and they understand
I think
that.
I think we need to pinpoint a specific character in either skit or something that could really. And I just feel like that's too broad of a topic.
Yeah, no, I agree
Like,
with you.
mine would be Bobby Monahan's drunk uncle. Like you could totally make a whole fucking movie around that.
Okay, like where does it start? Where does Drunk Uncle start for you?
I don't know. I just think it would be funny to have him as a character in a movie, and it would just be maybe him losing his job at like the machine factory.
Sure.
Or whatever the fuck it is, and
Yeah.
then like him spiraling into this thing, and then there's like there's something happy that happens where like it brings him around and
Totally.
makes him happier. I don't know what it is.
No, you have the fumbling buffoon storyline.
Yep.
Right.
Totally.
You have the comedic buffoon that you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
root
yeah.
for.
Yeah.
That tries.
You have
he's-
that everyday man that's going through regular struggles, but he's a buffoon and he's funny, but he's got a good heart. But then he,
like he shows up at a birthday party and
Yeah.
he like kid's birthday party, he ruins it. Everyone's
Yeah.
like, what a screw up.
and also because he's kind of I think he's like Italian in it. You maybe got some kind of mob thing that gets like thrown into it or something. Yeah,
I really see this. I don't like. He's the perfect character to laugh at and to root for at the same time.
yeah, that's what you want.
It should be he got fired, and the only way he can get hired again is if he does AA.
It goes through treatment.
Yeah.
And he goes through Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah, but you would never get the only problem with that is that you won't get approval from Alcoholics Anonymous to use that in a storyline. And that's a pretty taboo section with a rehab perspective, so I think he'd have to rejigger it a
Million Little
bit.
Pieces on Netflix did it with Taylor, the guy who played Quicksilver in the Marvel movies.
What was it, a comedy?
No, it was
No,
a
it's
drama.
a drama.
Yeah.
Correct, that's
But
different.
you can make a dramedy. You can make it like Crashing. You can make it.
I don't
like,
want a dramedy. It's SNL. SNL doesn't do dramedies.
That's true.
Yeah, that would be taking away
Yeah.
from. So
like
would
how
it-
MacGruber works. Yeah.
okay, so then you just have to see a guy turn the corner. He's still a drunken buffoon, but he has to personally grow as
Yeah.
a person.
Gross as a human.
Grows as a human,
Yeah,
but
still
like
a
drunk
drunk.
uncle is like always implanted into every awkward moment that families experience.
As we keep talking about, I keep having all these other like SNL skits that I really like just pop in my head all
What's
of a sudden.
yours?
I had like, it's funny because I know which one I settled on, but all of a sudden as you were talking, I'm like, oh my god, that one's good, that one's good. But I had like
Stefan.
Debbie. No,
Stefan.
oh yeah, not Stefan.
Stefan
No,
goes clubbing.
I was saying like Debbie Downer.
Wah, wah.
That one. I was thinking all of a sudden.
The moon is made of cheese.
Well, the rocket one. Well, who's the rocket one? Where it's like rocket. I'm taking a rocket. I'm packing a suitcase. I don't know. It's about like a crappy rocket man. And then the last.
That's Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan, right? And then the one in my head I settled on was Delicious Dish, because that's Sweaty Balls.
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Because they did a bunch, but they had different like hosts throughout it. But I was thinking if they did it in a way where they, I don't know, had like two SNL characters as a like they had to shift to a podcast, and that would be the essential storyline or something like that, or like something like that where they're like canceling the show. Like it feels
they
like
had to like go to a new medium and
something.
Like, be successful.
Yeah, something like that. I feel like there's
Radio's
something there.
dying. They need to come up with a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like there's something there you could play with.
I love it.
But I also feel like whatever it's going to be, it has to be something that we're in the last 10 years, it's been consistent reoccurrence. And honestly, the only sketch that I think has reoccurred consistently over a long time is "Ooh wee, what's up with that?"
What's up with that?
And then you could have Randy Cunningham actually talk and like. Anyway.
How about David S. Pumpkins?
Oh yeah.
Right? Like that could be like you could make. I wonder if you could make a SNL universe. Like I wonder if you could wrap all these characters like they've come
It's
off
Pat.
the page. It's right. Or like
But
we're
that's
going
already been made into a movie.
No, I'm saying that
Actually,
like
Pat
taking,
was in- yeah.
taking all these characters.
Yeah.
I thought
I'm
you
going
meant.
to pump you up. Like
I thought you meant taking all these characters from the movie.
Yeah, why don't they
universe.
make a Hans and Franz movie?
Hans and Franz come to
Oh,
America.
That would be good.
Hans and Franz have to not pump you up.
That'd be so good.
Hans and Franz have to give
And
up
actually have Arnold
human
in it?
growth hormone.
You know what would be funny? What's the incredible gay duo? Is that
The-
problematic?
The
now?
ambiguously
ambiguously gay duo.
I'm sorry, I was
Yeah.
young when I watched it.
Whatever, they were incredible.
That has to be, or you could maybe do a movie around Jack Handy skits. As I bit into the peach and its sweet juices filled my mouth, I realized that it wasn't a peach at all,
Jack-
but a human head.
Jack Handy needs to get. Jack Handy
That's
needs
good.
the drunk history treatment.
If you drop your keys in a river of lava, they're gone. They're really gone, man.
Those were so great. No, those are all good, and like Wayne, like the ones that we love, right?
It's
Like
Wayne's
Wayne's World,
World.
Coneheads, Blues Brothers. Like these are these are what they did, and then they stopped and they started doing the digital shorts, which was like their video creation, right? It fit into the show.
And that essentially
chronic what
became.
goes on.
Narnia.
But I think like SNL, digital shorts became its own movie with Lonely Island, because Lonely Island was
Yeah,
like,
Well, I mean, they're a comedy trio, right?
exactly, yeah. I used to watch their stuff before they were on SNL. Like I found them accidentally because I was a big Scrubs fan, and Sarah Chalke, who's in Scrubs, was in a bunch of those Lonely Island skits, and I found them before that. And then later on, I was like, oh my god, they're on like SNL now. They're huge.
Yeah.
Like it was just one of those.
Well, when
random-
Andy Samberg got on there, the other two guys got hired as writers, right?
Yes, yeah,
and
that's
I
what
mean,
it was.
Jizz in Your Pants is still one of the funniest fucking videos. Like I can watch that to this day.
Jizzed in
And I remember
my
Sean, my brother, and I were studying at U of M at the library, and he showed me that video, and we actually got kicked out because we were laughing so hard. We both had our headphones on and we're watching, and we started laughing so hard. The librarian came up, "You two have to leave."
That's so funny.
Well, actually, speaking of Andy Samberg, there's that pop star movie, the like Never Stop, Never
So
Stopping
good.
or
Pop
whatever.
So
Never
That's
Stop
kinda,
Stopping.
that almost is like
It is.
an
It's an SNL movie.
Yeah.
For sure it is.
Yeah. Also, and I would say, I would
That-
argue 30 Rock is a show that is very
Agreed.
much SNL
Agreed.
inspired.
Yeah.
Because they have the Girly Show, right, which is a live show that they run on.
That's
Saturday
true.
Yeah,
nights.
it's-
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
And
I know.
it's
And
his
it's
characters
got a
from-
lot of SNL.
It's got a
Well, I
lot
think
of
that's
SNL
why we
characters.
haven't seen an
Yeah.
SNL movie in forever, because 30 Rock kind of like
30 Rock did it.
kind of did it,
Yeah, it did a
and they
great
like
job.
took all the elements of
I
it.
think it's because I'm just too tired to produce all this extra stuff.
I'm in my 70s now.
It's also like when 30 Rock's a great show. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is.
100%. Yeah.
Okay, so out of all of these, which one do we think should
None of them
get,
actually.
Which
I
nothing,
actually,
nothing,
all
I'm going to be
mediocre.
honest with
Yeah.
you. They all
nothing gets money.
They're all mediocre.
They're all just kind
They
of
picked the good
Yeah.
ones they did.
Yeah,
already.
exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. Nobody.
If there'd been good ones, they already would have turned them
Exactly.
into a movie.
Yeah.
nothing gets money. I like
MacGruber.
that.
Yeah, there you go.
MacGruber gets money.
MacGruber.
Yeah. And it'll be. I don't know. You guys gonna watch it? Like, was
Yeah.
it-
Yeah, definitely.
It's out already. I just haven't
It is
watched
okay. All right.
Yes.
I haven't. Yeah. I just.
It's on Paramount Plus or something weird.
Oh, okay. That's yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
the problem is that app isn't on any of the TVs yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only- yeah,
Yeah, Disney hasn't bought it yet.
No. Meaning it hasn't. That app
Yeah.
hasn't been loaded, like preloaded on like a Samsung or an LG or.
I thought it was on Apple, or on that
So
type
once
of
you
thing.
buy your
Sorry, yes.
Roku TV, it's not on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's on Roku.
Oh, I picked the one that it's on. Come on.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah,
With,
but
uh,
Roku's only found on Chinese spy machine TV, so stop buying that. Of course.
That's true. I got one on the other. In the room.
Yeah.
All right.
I
So
definitely went to my
mark
bedroom.
it as we are done. The next one dives into some philosophical topics. I was like, we got four.
To
in the
be
row,
or not
so
to be?
That is the question. As I pull beard hair out.
Disgusting. I'd rather you pulled beer hair out than pubes. So.
That's yeah. Well, this you
At
don't.
least in this setting.
I would hope that what you're looking at up here is more appealing than what I'd be pulling hair out of down here. Like you.
Well, I
can,
also feel like there'd be more like angst on your face. You'd be like, oh,
no, I'm, it's,
oh.
well, there's angst in my pants now. It feels a little. It feels not, whatever.
Anyway.
Fucking rabbit hole. I can see it coming. The next one was I want to get to it. I just haven't had a chance because I didn't finish Dexter the first time around. But you know what that.
I'm excited to talk about this.
Okay, good because I want to get back into Dexter.
Because I finished the new season.
That's even better.
I've
So
only-
you've,
I've only
you've
watched
got a
the
first
bird's
and
eye
I
view.
loved it.
Okay, then we'll start with you. The question is what Dexter does what Dexter has what he's done and what he continues to do in this new season moral or immoral? Ian.
It depends how you look at it. If you look at it from a character's perspective, because
Yes, that's what. Yeah.
we hear his inner monologue. So yes, it's moral because we are getting
perspective.
we're getting his perspective, and he's protagonist and he's an anti-hero. So yes, but if you just watched a newscast of something and you found out this guy is doing this, no, because then I don't know the background story. But like his justification of it within his own mind makes me like morally side with him. That being said, this new season, Dexter New Blood, I think actually like goes into it more. I don't know how much I want to spoil, but like essentially it does like go a little deeper into like
It's
these roots.
done at this point, correct?
It is done.
Yeah.
But they bring in an outside character that really they do in every fucking
Does it
season.
really
but,
tie the room together?
Yeah. It's I don't know. Don't get me wrong. Like Dexter up to season 4, not very good. After that, not great.
That's where I got lost, by
Yeah,
the way. I just want to say
absolutely.
that I was one of those people.
I liked season 5, but it's not great. But it ends badly. And then this one actually does do it right, and they fix everything. In my opinion, I was very excited every Sunday to watch it, as opposed to like people were talking about Yellow Jacket on Showtime. I was excited for Dexter every Sunday. So, I thought Dexter was a better and it's a miniseries. They finished it. Dexter's officially done now. It's great. Highly recommend.
Nice.
Okay. Now, quick question before we move to Emily on this. We just talked about it from the character's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
If this was happening in real life, because we have to eventually use our tagline at least once in an episode, and you did have the backstory. It was continuing in the background. It was something that was happening, maybe in Toronto or Montreal, or not close to home, but some proxy to you.
Yeah.
And you did start to see that the police were like, we're releasing a pattern that these are devious people, that this is we don't condone this, but this is what's happening. If you got his pattern, would you see it as moral or immoral?
Moral. I want a Batman in the world.
No.
For the sake of the argument.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Moral.
for the sake of the
I think
you know the magic words.
Moral.
All right.
It's the vigilante conversation, right?
Yeah.
Which is actually works really well because considering what I'm watching right now, with watching like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and Daredevil, but it's also like when you think about when you're going to play a character in D&D, right? It's like you're definitely not lawful good, but are they like chaotic good? Is this chaotic good? Is it chaotic evil? What are we looking at here with a character like Dexter? So I don't actually know. I think it would be too difficult. Like if it impacted me positively or negatively, would impact the outcome of how I felt about it. So like if I was being protected by a vigilante, I would probably feel pretty good about it from a selfish perspective. But if I was feeling terrorized by a vigilante because I was, I don't know, like doing something lawfully bad, like insider trading or something like that, which wouldn't get me murdered by Dexter, but might get me vigilante depending on the vigilante.
Yeah. But I mean, just so you know, I'm Batman. It's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Everything will be fine. No,
Everything will be fine.
I just saw the clip of Michael Keaton doing that at that graduation ceremony.
Oh, I have no
Where he's
idea.
like, just remember, like his final words at a graduation ceremony were like, I'm Batman.
So I'm on the fence with this. I'm certainly not. I'm not one for like lawful good. Like I don't think that the law and things that are moral are always the same.
Yep.
So, which is very much existing outside the law to be a good person very often go hand in hand.
Yeah, but lawful good is to the nth degree though, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like
That's
the
not-
children from Wheel of Time.
Yes.
That could almost be in some weird like
You can be
roundabout
evil.
like Nazis could almost
Oh,
consider
yeah. Oh,
themselves
absolutely.
Nazi
Yeah,
good
you
on
can be
some-
evil when you're lawful
Yeah.
good for sure.
Yes, you
Like,
can. And that's
Yes.
It's almost
this is
it's
the-
good to a fault. And I mean
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
paladins are always lawful good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're like by the rules, but they also have to be good. But sometimes that can almost get in the way where
100%.
things are too black and white.
Yeah, it's like you're not
Stormtroopers.
leaving room for nuance.
Stormtroopers.
Yeah. There's no room for nuance. That's exactly true.
Yeah, and then when you get the nuance, the nuance helps you challenge your morals.
It's almost like the world isn't black and white. It's
But shades of
shades of gray.
Shades of gray.
Oh, 50 or more.
Yeah. Yeah, I've from what I saw, I tried to read the books too. Like I found
did
them at a
too.
garage
Yeah.
sale. Dexter behaving badly or whatever. Dexter.
Oh, that shows you
devious-
how much you were
Oh my
willing to
God.
invest in those Dexter's books. I found them at a garage sale.
Well,
I
mean,
actually bought them off Amazon years ago, and I had the first two, and I can't remember.
Well,
what
I
they're
gave
called.
to small business, and he gave to corporate.
Are
greed,
they any good? The books any good?
They're
Garage
very
sale, small
similar
business?
to the first season. Like it's basically the first two books at least were season by season, and like it's him like voiceovering his thoughts, so very similar. The one thing I was gonna say, it's just it's like I compared Dexter to You a lot. The show You.
Oh, I thought you meant
I
me.
was like,
I'm like,
Yeah,
pardon?
Oh.
To Michael
There's
as
there's a lot
Yeah.
of similarities.
There's
Yeah.
so much, and it's funny because I
Yeah.
actually say You is a more compelling show. They're exact same characters. They're doing the exact same things. You is interesting because he is not a good person. He's not an anti-hero.
I feel like he's inherently more damaged than
well,
Dexter.
he is because
Yeah.
he's also voiceovering his thoughts, but he thinks he's doing right. Dexter knows he's doing wrong.
Wrong.
He
And he's
knows,
battling
and
it.
he's battling it. And it's less of an interesting character when you know the person is doing something wrong and is actually but is trying to do good with his wrong. This guy is more interesting because he's a psychopath. Like
Yeah.
I
You
think
is a better
Dexter is
show.
interesting because you're so worried he's going to get caught, but he keeps getting away with it, and you
Yeah.
love that cat and mouse game, and that's what makes Dexter involving.
It's very part of his character.
But
yeah.
I mean, the other thing is too is I mean, the morality meter that he has. I mean, he typically only murders people that are either gonna get away with it, the law won't
Well, he has a
catch,
code.
or are doing something so evil and nefarious. Like, you know, like if you're running around and stealing mail from old ladies' mailboxes, he's not going to murder you for that.
No,
right?
he's
There's
on the
a-
cusp of the.
Yeah.
There's a level.
Just as broken.
However, there is a few times in the series where he kind of
He breaks his code a
He
bunch.
breaks his code quite a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah.
But he breaks his
So-
code for something of value, though. It's never for his own.
It's never for like he's gonna get caught.
He's
It-
never
it
feeding the
isn't,
beast with it.
Yeah.
But it's also it's for the well-being of somebody else.
Yep.
And is that the right reason to do it? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
No, and that's where the muddies
Right?
muddies
Because
the water.
he has a personal invested interest in that person that's going to benefit from him doing it. So in actuality, that is almost an evil act in itself.
Fuck, I want you guys to watch the new season.
Michael C. Hall is.
I love Michael. C. Hall.
I'm doing Brandon. 6
man
feet
never
unders right
ages.
now. He doesn't know. He's got
He looks
a.
the same.
He looks fucking old in there.
Whatever.
He looks thicker. He looks like he's
Yeah.
COVID-20.
What? Yeah, I don't know.
50.
He
He's
looks
in his
good.
50s.
Is he in his
He looks-
50s?
yeah,
He looks great in
yeah.
the new
Then you
season.
forget that he's
49,
just
fo-
proper
I think he's
English,
48,
right?
49.
Like
Yeah.
he's from over the pond. I too, I mean, I like nuance, so that's where like I can see the deed a person does not necessarily define the evil nature in that person. Like, because you can do evil does not make you evil. Look at every man, woman, and child who's ever been sent off to war. Like, you can, but it wasn't because you desired to.
Well, it's kind of like the mama bear perspective, right? Like, I mean, if a mother is put in a situation to protect her children, she will commit what it would be quote unquote an evil act to protect her children.
Right.
Does that inherently make it evil? Maybe not.
Right.
But it's all about the perception and the nuance of that situation, right? And that's why, like, I mean, I like what Dexter does only when it's in a situation where the person normally would get away with it, and that's wretched. I'm okay with vigilantism in that situation, but for the sake of just doing it to be a vigilante, when the proper recourse and code of laws and that method would work to get the desirable outcome,
it's
then
case
I
by
don't,
case.
I don't think that that's a moral act.
I think also at this point too, he is doing it for himself every time. Like, you know, like that's the funny thing. Like,
he's keeping blood.
Yeah, it's all for
he's
him.
not getting off on
But
this.
to
it's-
satisfy.
Let's
a
not let
need,
Dexter get
to
away
keep
with his
something
murder
at
here.
bay.
it's the rules that allow him to be called a vigilante.
Yeah.
But otherwise, he's all doing it to like.
He's a
satisfy
fucking
needs.
serial killer.
Yeah, he's a serial
Let's-
killer.
let's call it what
He's
it
just
is.
found a
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
to get by with
It's
it without
it's
causing
his,
too much damage.
It's his moral justification that what he's doing is okay.
It's True Blood, where they're like, we're only going to drink the blood of XYZ, or
Yeah.
like I'm only going to drink the blood of animals. It's making a deal with the devil.
Yep.
Essentially, which
Yeah,
is why
but
that character is.
that's different though, because they have a biological need and necessity to drink the blood. That is different than
That's
somebody that is
a good
inherently, has a psychological fault.
Let me get the
yeah,
True Blood. How are you?
You're welcome.
Because you have to look at vampires as a separate species, right? And if that species feeds on
Got a
blood,
speciesist over here.
Yeah.
See, separate species.
just saying.
You have to look at
Hey,
vampires different than humans.
Vampire have rights.
That's right.
Not my vampire. No, cool. And
Just
like
saying.
it's interesting because when you put that idea inside the character,
I mean, if sharks want blood, is it bad that they eat blood? No.
no, sharks can be cute.
They have their own
Heckin'
league.
Did you know that you have a better chance of being crushed to death by a vending machine than being eaten by dying from a shark attack?
I'm glad I know
Did
now.
a shark tell you that?
The shark
That sounds like Big Shark.
That sounds like
propaganda.
yeah.
while
like
he
you
was
say,
dropping a vending machine on him.
I was like, you gotta stop reading those shark blogs.
Isn't Big Shark? Wouldn't that be like the shark fin industry that's trying to kill sharks?
Big shark.
Yeah. It's actually the tuna industry that catches sharks and
AKA
dolphins.
the Chinese Communist Party.
Jaws is their
I'm allowed to
spirit
say
animal.
that because I don't think our podcast is allowed to be broadcast in China.
I don't know. We never
Just a firewall
Yeah.
allow that through? No.
We don't break into the red. Don't worry about that. Next one is with healthcare workers like being put under so much pressure these days. I was like, I thought maybe it would
For
be
what?
For
Is something happening?
Okay, go on, sorry.
I love our dark humor. I thought it'd be fun to be like, okay, so they see themselves on screen in the way that they've been portrayed by doctors and nurses and hospital staff, and
it's this question.
we all know it's not.
Can I go first?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I don't know which one this is.
So this is the one where if you were in the hospital, what fictional TV or movie doctor or nurse or whatever, like whatever
Health
practitioner, right? Let's open it up, right? Because there might be someone who's got some caring skills. And
So I've got 2. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
We play fast and loose. We know this.
We don't play fast.
no, not with me in the fucking driver's seat. So like, who would you want to take care of you if you were in the hospital, Rob?
So I got two in this. One is, well, obviously it's Doogie Howser. Like, let's.
Okay, yeah. I want the phenom. Give me the kid who just
now,
bypassed
the
med
obscure
school.
one is the chiropractor from Jacob's Ladder. That
Okay,
does
I need
those
to Google
deep,
this.
Does those deep adjustments and brings out the inner angst that he experienced
I like that you have a
in
child,
Vietnam.
a child and a witch doctor.
I'm gonna fight you on that. So I don't consider chiropractics witch doctor.
No.
My brother-in-law's a chiropractor, and so if he's listening to this, Jordan, just like want you to know that I do not endorse this message.
I'll be honest. I don't mind chiropractors, but I always joke about them being like, because I have a friend whose like dad's a chiropractor, and I always joke like, I'm like, oh, how's that witch doctor business going? Like I always make jokes like that.
Good. I like it.
Okay, and this
And
guy's
if you've
a character
never,
actor.
guys, if you've never seen Jacob's Ladder, you should watch it.
I've actually, I
Tim
don't
Robbins,
remember
baby.
it.
Tim
It's been
Robbins.
so long.
It's a
like,
story about a guy who comes back from Vietnam, right?
Yep, it's about Agent Orange and all that kind of shit.
PTSD and
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I know.
chiropractic.
This is
Demons.
this is always on the 250 list. Like
Oh, yeah.
250 movies you need to watch.
Anyway, so those are my 2 answers.
No, because
Oh,
you know
okay.
I go to a chiropractor and I know like they just loosen you up and they get you like back to
It's a tune-up.
it's
a
just
motherfucking tune-up.
it's just get in line.
I watch.
It's like my oil change.
my TikTok is full of chiropractor videos.
There's
'cause-
so
I
much-
love those
'cause
videos.
I love.
There's that guy that uses the giant hammer.
everything. I bought a
Bo
thorough.
Hightower.
I bought a
you
thorough
did
gun.
buy a thorough gun.
$450.
How are those things?
I love it.
Can you bring it over next time?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Remind
bring it
me.
over.
Yeah.
Can you also use it for masturbatory?
I've
operation?
definitely gotten close to the grind,
Okay,
and it feels nice. And it feels nice because I do my inner thigh, and it will get a
Nice.
point where I'll go, oh.
Oh, I bet you do your.
Oopsie.
Oh,
No,
I
but
should
it-
have
but
worn
it-
these tight pants.
but it's basically punching. Like it's like
Oh, nice. That's cool.
it's doing that.
So you can get it right into those
yeah,
specific.
and it has different sections, so you really massage. So what I'm saying
Can you
is,
do connective tissue really well with it?
you can, yeah.
excellent.
And so basically, instead of going to see a witch doctor, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm sorry. I thought this was gonna be a better bit. I thought I had something.
No. It's fun. So, anyways, okay,
You
so we
already
have-
explained the joke behind it,
I
and then you're referencing it again, so
know.
it's kind of lost its luster.
I know. I listen.
Diamond, go lick his wounds.
I try to. I'm emotionally scarred by my bad joke.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm marking this clip.
Mark it. Yeah.
Delete all the comedy out of this.
Cut the clip. There you go. Right there.
Please
That's where you
delete the
want it.
comedy.
Oh, anyways, okay. So no, I like it.
If
I like
anybody says Grey's from Grey's Anatomy, I'm just gonna walk out of here.
it. Meredith, great. Okay, Emily, you go next.
Mine's actually not a medical doctor necessarily, so much as a
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. Yeah.
Is it Doctor Who?
It's Doctor Who.
I knew it. I knew
Yes!
someone was gonna fucking say it.
100%. And here's why.
Electronic screwdriver.
Because yeah.
The question is, who's your favorite TV or movie doctor?
Oh, yeah, my favorite TV.
So, what's your favorite Doctor Who?
I thought it was gonna be Doctor Who or Doctor
It's Tom
Strange.
Baker,
Oh,
right?
Doctor Strange. No, you know what? So my favorite doctor is.
Not favorite Doctor per se, but favorite Doctor Who.
I know favorite Doctor Who. You know what? There's
Time Lord.
my
Too
favorite
hard.
David
Doctor.
David Tennant.
I do like David Tennant a lot. I'm
Mine's Tom Baker. I like long scarves.
like
Was he the one with the big quaff?
He's the one with the crazy curly hair and always
Yeah,
has
Yes,
long.
with the
yeah,
big
yeah,
stuff around it.
yeah.
You know what? The most recent doctor, like the I don't know what I can't remember the name. Like Jodie.
Cormer?
Is that like the girl, lady
girl-
doctor?
The lady doctor, yeah, the
Yes.
one that everybody was up in arms
Yeah,
about.
fuck it, I like her. But here's
Jodie Cormer's fucking
Jodie
badass.
Comer, yeah, she's really cool, and I like that she has multiple like people that she travels with. So she's got her the folks that she travels around with. There's no like implied or real love interest, which always frustrated me with the Doctor and his little companion, that they always just like fell in love with him. So I find that kind of annoying. So I enjoy that about this Doctor. But also, so the reason I picked Doctor Who is because I feel that if I got sick enough to end up in the hospital, it must be something supernatural or
they could also travel back in
alien-y,
time
and they can travel back in time, or just take me away from all of this if I'm gonna,
I fucking
die.
hate
As
you for
long
this
as
answer.
the
This
top
answer
is
is
as
this
close.
is the perfect answer.
just take me away from all of it. And
I wanted to be left in the hospital, and you're like, let's get out of here in your fucking TARDIS.
Let's get in your fucking TARDIS and go. Show me the end of the world. Show me like all I guess. Yeah, something.
I
anyway.
can show you the
Also, if you
world.
need a heart
Different
transplant, they
Earth.
can give you one of their hearts.
Absolutely. Yeah. See. And I just, I'm just ready for that whole experience. So it's gonna be Doctor Who.
I don't want to play this game anymore. You want to go next? You want me to go next?
You can go next.
Okay. I had written this down because these questions.
I also, we also have notes.
Emily,
from one list
this
maker
side of
to
the room is
another.
just like flying off the
Yeah,
fucking
we're
cuff,
just
and you
winging
guys
it.
are like, "Let me get my notes."
I used to do that, and then I'd come here and I'd forget in the moment.
I read all the questions ahead of time. I thought about it, and then I was
Yeah.
like, well, we'll see how I feel.
I went so far left and right on both sides of this question and its spectrum. I picked,
George Clooney in ER.
No, well, I did.
I'm not going to kick that doctor out of my room if he shows up. Let's be entirely honest.
I was gonna be like, if I had kids, it's definitely gonna be George Clooney from ER, like the hottest pediatrician on the planet.
Heck yeah.
But then I was like, man, I don't want to be having a peacock in front of George Clooney in front of my wife. So like, having to worry about him like stealing my life from me. Just kind of, I omitted him from the list.
I thought that the other way, like worrying about your wife stealing him from you.
No,
He's supposed to be my doctor.
Yeah,
You
no.
don't go off with
No.
my
So
wife.
who'd you choose?
I chose Patch Adams.
Oh,
I have two choices.
yeah,
So I
love
have Patch
that.
Adams, which is, but it's an obvious choice. But
forgot about that
the
movie.
obvious choice is
I
because
heal with comedy.
not heal with. This is what's because he's so far over
He's
here.
based
Wait
on
till
a real person.
Yeah.
he is. Yeah,
absolutely.
he's
100%.
inspired by.
I thought you were gonna say Leonardo DiCaprio pretending to be a doctor.
Catch me if you can.
That is great.
And I actually
Do you
did. I
concur?
did watch that movie this week too.
Do you concur?
Concur on what, doctor? Do you concur?
I should have concurred.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
So I had Patch Adams just because bad news can't come from anybody else but Robin Williams. It's just
That's a good pick.
You know what I mean?
And nobody can consume more cocaine than Robin.
He's always going to be going. He's going to be.
Any day or night, the doctor's there for
constant rounds. Constant rounds.
Nothing.
Oh,
makes me
you
feel
feeling pain? Here's some cocaine.
I would feel trustworthy of a doctor.
Put some
walking with
cocaine
a
on
clown
that.
nose. Like,
Dr. Freud.
Doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I
I
also
prefer to ingest my cocaine.
Do some cocaine about it.
well, and then I also thought if I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, if I'm in the hospital, I obviously want Patch Adams. But then I was like, who do I want everybody else to have as a doctor? So I picked House because I wanted to be in the room watching House do his thing with all of his staff and all of his clinicians with him because that would just be a fun stay at the hospital. Like watching some grumpy ass.
I feel like House is just for like, we have this unusual diagnosis that's required. Let's bring him in.
I'm saying
I don't want to be. I don't want to have that
I
shit.
thought
to
about
me.
but I wanna
House, but I
watch-
figured he would make me cry. I think.
No.
He's
Oh,
got
yes.
no bedside manner. No
neg-
bedside manner.
Yeah, like in D&D, his bedside manner score is like
Negative
-6.
8. Yeah, exactly.
No, but that's what I'm saying is like I want him to be your doctor, Ian. I don't want him to be my doctor. That's the point. Like I want to watch you have to put up
Go
with
make
House.
somebody else
I
cry.
feel like we need to segue because
It's perfect.
because I think this match is perfect. So my doctor, I've decided that I want a team of doctors.
Oh, okay.
Oh, not
Because-
selfish at all.
Oh no, well because I'm that.
You know we live.
sick.
We live in Canada, and we
Complicated.
gotta
You did.
share.
I know exactly what you
Complicated medical
Okay, what is
conditions,
it?
maybe.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
What is
I'm
it?
like, and they're all TV doctors. So I started with led by Dr. House,
Nice.
Okay,
Okay.
Nice.
and then Dr. Cox from Scrubs,
All right. Yes. Yeah.
and then. Not because I really care much. I don't really like. I've watched the first 2 seasons, but Rob, Don't Kill Me, Meredith Grey, and then
He's walking out. There he
And
goes.
then-
I'm out here.
and then George Clooney, ER, and then finally Doogie Howser.
There you go.
I got the super team.
It's a
picked the room.
mishmash.
Yeah,
yeah.
no.
I did
love
pick
it.
the room.
You've got a collage. Of
and I did
doctors.
think of Doctor Who at one
Doctor
point,
Who.
but I was like, maybe I'll keep it in the real.
Can I just say
retrospect.
something? You didn't include any doctors from MASH. fuck you.
Actually,
Oh,
you
nice.
know who I was
I
going to
thought
include?
about that too. Actually,
As for
Yeah.
military doctor, I was
Yeah.
going to include John Watson, like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Oh
okay.
yeah, military
yeah.
doctor, or
was
what's
gonna-
it, or
Dr. Watson.
Andrew Garfield
You want
from Hacksaw
a
Ridge.
military doctor from 1890? What are we gonna do?
No. Like
Amputate.
Benedict,
off.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Ether. Amputate. Amputate.
Sniff this and don't look down.
Which one were you going to say?
I
Andrew Garfield?
Andrew Garfield from Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
He was the field medic who wouldn't
I actually,
shoot
I
back.
need to watch that movie.
Didn't Mel Gibson direct that?
He did.
Yeah. It's a mediocre movie.
It's not that great.
No.
It
It's,
isn't?
It's not. It's
not that great.
It's a good story, just not done well.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
not Braveheart good.
No.
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 It's none of that good.
No, it's not great.
Next
So-
question.
Yes, please.
Next question.
Moving on.
Moving on. Cut the clip. Come on, phone. Come on, phone. Do your thing. All right, there we go. Next item on the docket would be what's the first movie? Like, what's the first movie that you watched where you were like, "Whoa, there's other kinds of movies out there"? And I kind of bracketed it. And it's like, was it an independent? Was it a cult? Like, what was the one that opened your brain and flipped your hair back and just like really rocked you? That was art house, like. The Fight Clubs, the Fear and Loathings, the Me with Nail or Nail with I, right? Like these real Clockwork Orange, like you mentioned. Like, what were these? They're making movies about this or making movies this way that made you get outside of the popcorn and the standard romantic comedies. Like, what opened your film mind, Emily?
Oh, no question. So easy. Didn't even have to think about this. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was.
This is a very good question.
Yeah, this Rocky Horror Picture Show. I remember the first time I ever saw it was my boyfriend's house when I was in high school, and I don't even remember how, but like. We threw it on, and I could not stop watching this movie. I was riveted. I was like, what in the fuck is happening? Like, there's sex, there's aliens, there's dancing, there's like,
meatloaf.
There's meatloaf, R.I.P. And then that just threw me on this like path of these weird cult like movies where people dress up and sing along and like whatever for years and years. And so Rocky Horror, absolutely through and through.
When you watched it for the first time, when you see those kinds of scenes on the screen, what did it make you feel? Like, what this is where, like, because the cinematic treatment of anything, it amplifies it, but at the same time, it's like, whoa, this is a story that I didn't know anybody was telling.
Yeah, no, I loved that. I loved that it combined musicals with like the weird, the weird and like strange, and so the fact that
Cross-dressing.
No, the fact that it wasn't
Yes.
just like
Yeah.
absolutely, it wasn't just like a normal musical.
Vanilla.
Yeah, it wasn't a vanilla musical. It was like, this shit is fucked up. Like, this guy's fucking everybody left, right, and center. Like, girls fucking girls and guys fucking guys.
a
and
horny
people
movie.
eating people.
Super horny movie.
Yeah, people eating people and like the dancing and the singing and like all of it and the colors.
Susan Sarandon's hot in it.
Susan
Oh,
Sarandon
yeah.
is so hot.
yeah.
Like, how cool would a Brad and Janet Halloween costume be? Where it's like the slip,
Yeah.
and like just the tidy whities and the socks. Like, fuck yeah.
Yep.
The whole thing is just excellent. And I just
Good
remember
movie.
all of my senses being just so overwhelmed and just being like, I love that people like you said, it's this horny weirdness. And I was a teenager, right? So I was already horny and weird, and I loved it.
There it
was-
is. It's like
yeah.
I guess it's when you first see something that's taboo
Yes.
in life on screen, and then you apply. You're like, okay, I resonate with that.
Yeah, and then it's
right?
okay to be horny and weird. That's cool. And then, like, not only that, but lots of people love this movie. So it's not just me who's horny and weird.
Yeah,
Right.
no, it
Right?
resonates
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like striptease.
Yes. Yeah.
Made me horny.
Horny and weird.
Horny and weird.
Yeah. So that was it for me. Absolutely.
I mean, I always saw the cult movies in some of these more, like, one of the first ones I ever saw was Jesus' Son with Billy Crudup.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's about how, like, a heroin addict is poised to be the second coming of Jesus, and he's got to like find himself and then realize this. And it was just really weird and stuff. And like, I mean, I watched those movies when I was younger, but they didn't have an effect on me. Like, I didn't have the brain power or the life experience
Yeah.
to start having these things experience me in real life and then see them on the screen and be like, oh, okay, there's the third depth is added. But one of them that just made me start like realizing what could be talked about on screen was Wrist Cutters, a love story.
Oh yeah, I remember that movie.
Any of you?
Yeah,
you guys have
I've
seen
seen
it?
it. Yeah,
I haven't seen that one.
Tom Waits,
Tom Waits is in it.
Yep. The girl from fucking 40 Days and 40 Night's Tale. whatever.
Shannon
That's it.
Sosaman
Shannon Sosaman, yeah.
is.
What's
is
the name of
in
the
it.
movie?
Wrist Cutters.
Wrist Cutters, A Knight's Tale.
So this is the first movie that you saw that.
This is one of the first. It's from 2006, and it's just one of the first ones
This was
that
really
made
indie
me,
movies. It was a Sundance darling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a festival film.
I just feel like that's you were already in your 20s. Like
Yeah, that's the funny thing. That's
is
what's
there
kinda
is
like,
there nothing prior to that
Yeah.
really initiated? Because this is the question you asked. What's the first?
That's what I'm saying is that I was a late bloomer to getting outside of my
okay.
wheelhouse,
Okay.
and
leave him alone.
like I
No,
it's,
that's okay.
That's
That's
fine
why I'm
because
asking.
like I curated my list off of what was in my father's movie collection that
Right.
he was showing off with, so it was very
Commando.
Yeah, it was
Aliens.
well.
Top Gun.
It was that, and it was everything that was
love
done
those
well. Like
movies.
Dr. Zhivago's in there, and Deer Hunter was in there, and Godfather was in there, right? So like, these are cinematic masterpieces. Don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about where I was affected by what I saw, and I realized that there was more to what I'd experienced in film. So
okay.
like. This is what I came up on, so these were big budget, big stories, classic films.
Mm-hmm.
This is a festival darling. I wasn't a festival darling in my early 20s,
Yeah.
right? I was tentpole. I was manufactured. I wasn't
More than just the blockbusters.
more than
right?
just a block. Yeah, I was the blockbuster prototype.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now that
I
I'm
feel ya.
40, I've got a little bit. Like it's only 15 years since I really started looking at film through a more examined eye, let's say. But this one is all about suicide, and it's suicide with a very dark manner. That's very suicide victims go to limbo, and limbo is just a really shitty version of what you just left.
It's depressing. Yeah.
It's depressing.
Yeah.
And so your lead
That
character
looks
here,
awesome.
It's
Just
pretty
looking at
funny.
it right now.
It's like
it's Patrick Fugit. So like you're almost famous, right? Shannon Sosaman, Shea Wiggum, who's doing a lot of stuff. Tom Waits, Leslie Bibb. The guy that Shea Wiggum is inspired by, Eugene, is actually Eugene Hoots, who's Gogol Bordello.
oh
And
yeah,
Gogol
yeah.
Bordello does the soundtrack in the
Nice.
background.
I really
Yes.
like Gogo
So
Bordello.
there's
Yeah.
it was this,
I knew this. I had their I remember this.
They did a lot of things with music, like different mediums.
Yeah.
And then it was about suicide, and this guy kills himself, and then Will Arnett's in it. Will Arnett plays this con man in limbo,
Yeah.
Nice.
who's like telling people he can ferry souls to like it. Tom Waits is Tom Waits, like but it's very outside of your prototypical like mass produced cinema.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where I was like, okay, this is cool. Like what else? Life Aquatic was another one,
Life
right?
Aquatic
Like
is
watching a
really
Wes
good.
Anderson,
Yeah.
watching any Wes Anderson film for the first time makes you see a whole different genre. And I saw Life Aquatic probably around that time too, but still like just didn't really click. And maybe because you're teen, you're angry, you're upset. So
And-
suicide is something that has crossed your mind, and you see it on screen. And
This is such a subjective question because I know people that would say like, "Oh, Wes Anderson's so mainstream now," and it's funny. I don't think so, but like he's on the cusp. I took a friend to see it, The French Dispatch, and she was like, "Who's Wes Anderson?" Like she didn't never seen any of his
Oh.
movies.
Wow.
She
lots
loved
lots
it.
of people haven't seen Rushmore.
Well, that's the thing. Like, yeah,
Right?
or
Yeah.
Royal
Royal
Tenenbaums. Yeah,
Tenenbaums.
like
Or the,
if you didn't get him, you
Fantastic
missed
Mr.
him.
Fox,
or the Budapest Hotel.
yeah,
which-
like that. You
fucking
know,
Grand
amazing.
Budapest
So-
is a fucking painting.
So like I think this movie's so subjective to like what you even consider a indie goal. Like whatever you consider a movie that's not mainstream.
Yeah, like and now I know like if let's see here, it's got $1 million budget. So by definition, by budget alone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Box office 454,000.
Yeah.
So didn't even make back what it spent. But now if you look at it shows up on lists. It's become popular.
Right.
because
It's got the cult following now.
it's a little ether, but like it was just one of those. And now I'm always down for like fuck. That's how I met him. I was like I want to watch other cinema from other parts of the world of other people's.
He pointed to me.
Ideas. Pointed to Ian. Yes, I pointed to Ian. Ian made me start loving short films again and like looking at festival darlings and watching art in cinema instead of Captain Marvel win, right? Thor 2.
I have a Sundance pass. I haven't used it yet. I gotta catch up on all these indie darlings.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I'm curious what Ian's is.
Yeah, me too.
It's funny because like this is a hard question, and so I'm like,
It was inspired by you. I thought of you when I
Oh,
asked this
interesting.
question.
So no pressure, but get it right.
well, like it's funny because I had to like, and like I could make this list forever because I feel like there's so many things, but the things I picked out was like I remember watching. It was like on Channel 8 on Saturdays at like 2 a.m. or midnight or something. They would
It'd
show
be a movie.
They would show a movie, yeah, like a big movie usually, or a good movie, and or a rated R movie. And one night, I was 14, and Fight Club came on. It was the first time I watched it. I always heard of
Nice.
it, and Fight Club blew my mind because you don't know the twist at the time. And I remember being like, wow, I didn't know a movie could be this like.
Didn't know a movie could have a twist.
Yeah, like to that
Yeah.
extent that kind of like I didn't know what the fuck I was watching the entire time. But in voiceover movies, really just you connect an audience really fast if they're done well.
Your statement made me feel really old.
Sorry, sir. I don't remember my actual age. I just said 14. But
Because I remember seeing that in the theater like 4 times.
you are I think like 6 years older than me,
Oh,
so
okay.
not too much. I think, but that's like such a mainstream movie, so that was hard for me to like say. I grew up watching. I don't know about you guys. I grew up watching Ebert and Roper at the movies. And so I would tape it every day or every week and watch all the new releases and find out. And so I'd always hear about like these indie movies that like played Sundance, and they'd be like thumbs up, thumbs down. One of the big ones when they came out was Primer, which I don't know if you guys ever watched. It's a time travel movie. It was made for next to nothing. It's these 2 young guys. It's a very slow burn movie.
This is one of the best time travel.
I agree.
movies
It's
I've
it's
ever
like
watched
number
in my
it's number
life.
1 or 2 on my list of
Nice.
I love Back to the Future. Don't get me wrong.
Mind blowing.
It blows your
Oh,
mind.
I've seen this
I'm
one.
gonna make
This is
a
the one
note
with the
of that.
box,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's these 2 guys
Yeah.
who basically are like.
It's got a fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
end. You're just like, what the fuck?
So
Okay.
it's basically about 2 guys who are these techie engineers who work for like a Microsoft type company. They build, and on their free time they work in their garage and they just kind of build whatever for fun. And they're just kind of building whatever for fun, and they accidentally build a time machine. And what they discover though is they do it because they put a rock in there and they get this mold out after they leave it for 2 days. They're like, this mold is like, it says it's like 3 weeks old or something. So they find out this time machine that they build a bigger version, and they can only go back 6 hours. And that's it. And so that's kind of the general concept of the movie, is them building a time machine that only goes back 6 hours in time. And that's all they can do. And what can you do in those 6 hours?
Jeez.
And what can really fuck up in your life in that sense, and what's the consequence of
All
time
it takes
traveling
is
at that
6
point.
hours.
I love it.
And so that was like a very low budget indie movie. First time I watched it, I did not understand it. Went online, found the filmmaker on a blog who was answering questions like before like Reddit and all that, and was like messaging him being like, I don't understand this part, and like he was replying to people and stuff. That's on my list. Memento at the time, because Memento like blew my mind as a movie that could be backwards. And then randomly, I would walk around the Pick-a-Flick or video store by my house, and I rented Following randomly, not knowing it was Christopher Nolan. And I remember watching that and being like, this movie's incredible, black and white, doesn't make sense, I love it. And
What order is it being filmed in?
well, yeah, like it just felt like I was finding these little like eggs of like I get to talk, and I love talking about movies and getting people excited for these weird movies. So
Not why you're on the show.
and so I get like, and so I'd say those were kind of the big ones that were
It's
like
just so you can bring your dog.
right, yeah. But those I think were my big like little indie things. I'd be like, have you ever seen Primer? Have you ever seen Memento? This movie will blow your fucking
These
mind.
are your secrets that you want to share with other
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
who you know
And I still
respect
do
it.
that now. Like, I love talking about it. It's funny as these movies are now, Primer probably the exception, but like being these movies now that are like pretty in the zeitgeist. So
Its budget was $7,000 and it made $841,000.
yeah.
Primer?
Yeah.
I just
That's
meant. I
good
just.
ROI.
And they have a they follow up
ROI.
movie called
Should circle back on that.
something color. It's about cloning, and it's very interesting as well. So it's very good.
Shane Carruth.
Shane Carruth,
Shane Carruth did
yeah,
it.
he directed and he stars in it and he wrote it. Yeah.
Nice.
Fuck. His follow up movie is very good. I just can't remember the name of it.
These are 100% indie darlings.
I
Yeah.
just
In
met.
there.
I text when something comes up that I want to watch. I text it to Dan to be like, "Hey, put this on our list." I just texted him this one. And he's real mad at me because apparently he's mentioned this one before.
Oh, that's great.
And,
that makes me happy.
And so I'm like, "Oh, Primer," and he's like, "Fuck you, man!" Like, I've mentioned that so many times.
That's
like, but no,
great.
somebody else says it, and you're like, "Ooh, let's watch it."
A cooler, more attractive male mentioned it.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
Like 3 other guys.
3.
And a dog.
Rob, what's yours?
This one's a little bit of a harder one for me, but I've got a couple. So, I mean, one that really stands out for me was I remember going to a Rogers video. I was probably 13 with my dad and my buddy. And my dad's like, "Oh, we need to rent this movie. You guys need to watch it. It's called A Clockwork Orange."
Oh no!
And
How old were you?
Like 13.
Yeah, that's fine.
And,
Social programming. Here
you
we
know,
go.
I mean, to watch a movie from the 70s, it's
Yeah, it's
the
hard.
early 90s. You're seeing kind of, because the 70s is really an underappreciated decade. It kind of got lost there for a while, but when you look at the gems that come out of that, Chinatown and a slew of other different ones,
Yep.
That movie is just so awesome with like the soundtrack. And I think it was the first time where I really was cognizant of what like to follow a director and watch movies that a director did with with Kubrick and stuff like that. Another big standout one for me, which was just maybe right around the same time, was my dad rented Naked Lunch.
Oh, boy.
Interesting.
And so that's and I loved Peter Weller because I
Right.
loved RoboCop, and then
Right.
to see him in this fucking crazy thing, and I was like probably like 12 and don't really understand the drug aspect of it, but just, and just like the in and out perspective and things like that. So that's another one. But when I want to go back and look at something that's kind of like art housey and kind of culty that I saw in the 80s, way too fucking young as a kid, is I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Canadian-made movie Scanners
Yeah.
with Michael Ironside.
Yeah, I remember it at least.
Fuck,
I-
that
yeah.
movie's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's so campy.
I was very young when it came out,
and
but yes, I
I
remember
think
it.
that was probably the earliest movie that I remember kind of seeing something that was like
Yeah.
a little bit more B, a little bit off, little obtuse, and those kind of things. Because my dad used to literally rent 2 movies every single fucking day when I was
Right.
a kid. So he'd come
Love
home
it.
with 2 movies, and there was a good chance I'd at least watch one of them, and so I'd get to see all this kind of cool. And sometimes he'd rent a blockbuster, and then sometimes he was renting something that the movie store only had 1 copy of.
Right.
Right.
Those are the gems.
And maybe it was a campy fucking horror movie or whatever. So and I think that was kind of the
You got
catalyst
the
of that.
spread.
Yeah.
You got a nice even because that's where you start. You start with in whatever your parents allow you to watch.
Well, I think it like we all have kind of weird movies like in it to some extent. Like there's like some sort of twist element or
Yeah,
you
something
know like
a little strange.
like
in that
I'd say
sense.
like beyond like being indies. I think they're just like
They're
they
interesting stories.
There's interesting story. Yeah, exactly. They're not like the mainstream things that we
Yeah.
usually see, and I think that's just something. Hey, that
I mean,
even
two of the ones that I talked about are based off of books that are very fucking crazy.
agreed. Yeah, and it like it's actually kind of as you were all talking about. I'm like, man, this is helping me with writing right now because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, like sometimes I try not to fall victim into like basic plots because I'm like, well, now this should happen, and I go, does it need to happen that way? So
No.
it exactly.
And good novels don't always follow the fucking fucking
yeah.
regular construct.
Yeah.
That's why Fight Club's so good. The book is fucking phenomenal.
I agreed. Oh, I love the book.
Like
yes.
Chuck Palahniuk, like he has a perspective on the world because he's not your conventional person that becomes a writer.
Yes.
He's got that Hemingway kind of perspective. Like he
Yes.
went out and lived
Very
in the
good
fucking
comparison.
world.
Gonzo journalism.
Went out and lived in the
Yes.
world, did a bunch of weird fucking jobs, was a fucking mechanic when he was writing that,
Yeah.
and it took all these different fucking stories and perceptions and experiences and put that into that book
Yeah.
that doesn't follow that
Yeah.
Like he-
regular.
Well, it's a movie. It's funny because it's called Fight Club, and it's about cult. It's called
Yeah.
a cult building essentially.
Yeah.
And it's just you think you know what it's about in the first act, and then it just shifts completely, and that's what a lot of these movies are. Like, I think that's what all these movies are.
and that's the thing about good storytelling is that now we gave you a blueprint for enough. Now it's our turn.
Yeah, you think
Right.
you know what's happening, and it turns out you were like way off track.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever listened to the podcast with Chuck Palahniuk when he was on Rogan, and he talks about this
No.
giant fucking castle that he built?
He built a
by
castle in
hand
COVID.
with
No.
like with fucking giant stones and shit. and
No.
concrete.
This is what he does is that he, like Rob said,
he has a property somewhere, and this is what he does.
he lives to then have an experience to write about.
So
Which is exactly what Hemingway used to do.
Yeah.
My not great Chuck Palahniuk story, but I actually he came to Winnipeg to
He did a reading.
to do a reading.
Oh,
He
that's
did a
cool.
reading of that
Rant.
rant. Yes.
And I had tickets to go. Unfortunately, some family stuff was happening at the time, so I didn't get to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very sad. But one of my good friends went, and part of the deal, because in the book there's a whole wedding theme, and if you came dressed in wedding attire, a suit or a wedding dress, they would take your name, and he was going to send you this giant box. And so my friend came dressed in a full suit, like wedding suit or whatever, with and his friend came in like a dress. And
Sweet,
and,
that's great.
And they 2 weeks later, a massive box came to his house, and inside was all this weird shit. I don't remember exactly what. It's all related to the book, but the book hadn't fully come out yet, so you had to, or it depends how far you were in the book to actually fully understand and appreciate what was in the box. But that shows how weird the guy is, and kind of cool and
That's
fun
awesome.
and interesting, and plays
Nice.
with audience.
go for
he
it.
Yeah.
sold his house and left a box of keepsakes and secrets for the next person.
Yeah.
And they were remodeling and they found the box.
That's cool.
And a phone call was part of it.
Yeah.
So they ended up calling him, and he got to they had a conversation with him about how the home's history
I should have
and,
did something like that.
and all that stuff. And it's he time capsuled his home for somebody essentially.
I carved my name, my dad's house, before he sold it a couple months ago, and and now that you say that, I'm like, oh, that would
Yeah.
have been really cool. to
just
do.
a little hey, you're not the only one here.
Yeah, I would have
Right.
hit
I
a
found-
shoebox of stuff.
If you guys want a quick cool story, we found buried treasure in our house.
What was it?
Actual coins, actual
Me, mate.
silver coins. Yeah. So we were demoing.
How much gold did
Are
you dig
you
up?
rich now? Are you a millionaire?
No.
Were they Third Reich coins from the year 2142?
You know what they were?
Oh
They
my
were
God.
Jake Paul's Pokemon cards.
Jake Paul's Pokemon cards, the fake ones. We
Ended up being G.I. Joe.
we were demoing our basement, and so we pulled down the walls, and Dan comes upstairs, and he's got this box that's wrapped up, and he's like, "Hey, look, I found this in the wall," and I'm like, "Ah, fuck, it's a body or some shit,
Yeah, definitely a hand.
dismembered
it's a
parts."
penis.
Yeah,
It's a
And so-
minotaur cock.
So we open it,
How much you want for it?
and it's a box of commemorative coins from the 1977 Montreal Olympics.
Oh, cool.
And then so he went through and he found 5 more of these boxes, and they ended up being worth
Oh,
each set was worth about $2,000.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah,
That's
pretty good.
Yeah, so we found buried treasure in the
If you
basement.
take
That's
a coin
cool.
Not
out,
bad, eh?
then you can never die.
Oh, you know what? I heard that
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, no, and then actually all of our appliances started breaking right after that. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that it was a curse. We'd
No,
unearthed
definitely.
the curse of Coiny Joe. Or
Did you
something.
did you use the money that you got from selling the coins to buy new appliances?
Yeah,
though?
I absolutely
So that all
did.
worked out.
You had 2-ton common in your fucking basement.
Yeah. I'm like, oh well.
Did you get bit by a mosquito on the cheek? Watch out.
Okay, so do you guys want to do the CGI thing, or do you want to talk about the new shit? What do you
I do.
wanna-
I could do
I can do
CGI.
both.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So this last one, before we get into some news, is
Let's keep this one short though.
yeah.
Okay.
This will be nice.
Gentlemen.
This is a short film.
Yep,
Let's
I got it.
broaden our
It's not a
minds.
feature. So I wanted to be something from the past, something borrowed, something blue, something old, something new, right? That wedding shit. What with today's technology, James Cameron made Avatar, and now everybody uses the software that made Avatar for CGI. That is the Unreal Engine nowadays with what you have, the ILM wall. Today's CGI is tolerable. You always want practical. Let's just say the practical.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it could still mean that this movie that's being remaked will still have some practical.
Yeah.
But the stuff that requires the CGI that wasn't available then, or
Yes.
the CGI was hokey,
Yes.
gets redone.
Yes.
That's basically what you're.
That's
laying
what
out.
I'm saying. And so, I'll go first. I'll use this as an example. I thought Little Monsters would be so much fun.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's a good
To
one.
read
I
it.
didn't-
Good one.
I didn't think
Right?
Of that.
You keep the practical.
Yep.
But then when you go into that world, you enhance.
Would you still
the
have
world.
Howie in
Under
it?
the
I'd
bed.
still have Howie in
Yes.
it.
You
I'd
gotta
have
Howie.
Howie and Fred.
I
I would have.
Like it would be when he's older with Fred's kid or something.
Howie's kid.
So
and
is that a
Fred's kid.
remake or a requel?
It's a requel.
What?
Because it's a sequel with Fred and Howie. They'd come together, right? They hadn't seen each other in forever, but their kids are experiencing each other, and Howie's kid doesn't know that it's Fred's kid. So Howie's kid's terrorizing Fred's kid, and the only way it stops is when Fred goes
My
down
God.
into the world and meets
But what
Howie
CGI
again for the
do they
first
really
time.
have
It's
to do
Harry
that?
Potter and
It's all
Cursed
it's all
Child.
fucking pulling their hand up a fucking sleeve and shit.
Yeah, there's not a lot of CGI.
There isn't, but you can add to it. You can
Right.
enhance the
Okay.
the world that they were in, where they were the under the bed world.
I think
Under the
you
bed
were
world,
thinking.
yes.
I think you were thinking. The question is, what would make just a really good requel?
I think that's what I think we're just finding out what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, I might have inserted. I might have been biased on this, but no, I think Little Monsters because
Okay.
it's so much fun and over the shoulder boulder holder. Like, I mean,
I kind of want to watch that again, just like
Right?
Yeah, I
my,
barely
send it- my
remember it.
kids
the,
were at the
Doritos
just
under
about
the
right age.
bed.
Yeah.
I don't think it holds up.
No,
Oh.
damn, because I have really great memories.
Watch
of
it with your kid. Let your
My
kids
kids are about the
decide.
right age now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went the same route as you did actually with the kids movie. I was thinking Neverending Story.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
very good selection.
I thought the same thing,
Did
but I
you?
feel like that shouldn't be touched.
Okay, so I actually
rewatched
initially
it
thought
recently.
I
Yeah.
initially was thinking the Labyrinth, but then
I also thought
I was
Labyrinth,
like,
yeah.
no, maybe not, because that shouldn't be touched. And it's perfect with the
Well,
puppets.
it's because Bowie's dead,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So,
and it's
Yeah,
perfect with
yeah,
the
yeah.
puppets.
Yeah.
But Neverending Story, and then I was specifically thinking, like, you know, the part where she's like, just the Bastion, just say my name, call my name, and like everything's cracking around her and like
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's all in space and stuff. That would be so cool.
Atreyu.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Atreyu, and he's like, Moonchild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
sadness. The
Yeah.
sadness.
I
Trevor.
feel like they will be remade, like Labyrinth and Neverending. I think they
Yeah.
will be at some point. Yeah.
Were they part of the Fox deal?
I don't know. They just feel like they will. I rewatched Neverending recently, and I was like, "Fuck! This movie's so good
It's
and weird."
so
What
good
about the
and weird.
Jonathan? What about the
So
Jonathan Brandis
good.
sequel, guys?
Fuck that movie. That
fuck
movie
that.
doesn't
I-
exist.
Do we not talk about it?
It's actually I didn't mind it, but like
It's fucking terrible.
It's pretty bad, but like
It's so
he jumps
bad.
in the waterfall, and that's how he gets into the world. I don't know. It's great.
Yeah, no, the original with
Yeah,
Elliot.
the original is the best.
With Elliot and that
With
old man.
Valcor coming down at the very end and making like the bullies jump in the fucking garbage
yeah,
can.
yeah.
Or like when the old couple you meet for the first time in
Yeah.
the first one
With
where,
the
like,
with the giant fucking phoenixes.
Yeah,
shoot
like
the
that-
beams down and
that's
shit. That
easily-
part's cool.
that
Riding a snail.
right
Yes.
a fast snail
fast
who like
snail.
drinks something.
There's the
like,
guy that eats the
the
rock.
rock, the
Yes.
rock
The
eating.
rock
Like,
eater.
there's so many oddball fucking
Oh, yeah.
creatures.
It's so
in that.
weird.
So
the movie's
good, though.
so
Well,
weird.
it's because it's made by a German director.
yeah.
Yeah. That's, but no, see, you're okay. All right.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
kids
I think you're right.
went the
I
same
think
way.
I think that's a really good option. Though there's
Sorry.
part of me that just doesn't want that remade.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty perfect, and it holds up really well. Like, it's what you want it to be.
I think
right
part
now.
of you doesn't want to be let down, and you have very high standards, and I agree
I have
with that.
super fucking high standards.
I agree with
and
that.
I was let down by the Total Recall remake.
Yes.
And the Conan the Barbarian remake.
Yes.
And I'm fucking soured. Can I go now?
Yes. Go.
I just brain farted and I can't remember what I was gonna say.
I'll just say I'm watching the Total Recall remake tonight.
Oh,
We're
interesting.
watching Total Recall, and
I
then
love
the
Colin
remake.
Farrell.
Yeah,
I'll watch Colin Farrell in anything.
Yeah.
You think about it.
Super high movie
Ian, you
club.
go next.
This was hard. Ready Player One. No, I'm kidding. Make it better. Make it better, please. No.
that book is actually really good.
And I'm okay
Yeah.
on the book. I've read it. It's actually a movie that I'm like 100%. I think you guys will agree on this if you've seen it. Hackers.
Okay.
Hackers is a movie that like it's never been my movie.
Would Matthew Lillard be?
Yeah,
in
yeah.
it?
Matt. Well,
Yeah.
no, I don't know who'd be like. It would be a complete remake. In a
Yeah,
sense.
no, I'm just joking.
But like, yeah, I'd hope so. but like all the CGI in that, like them floating through the database, I think that can be done like much better now. Like it's very cartoony.
They
when you
did
watch
it with Black Hat, Michael Mann's hacker
yeah,
movie
yeah,
with
yeah.
Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, I've never saw
That was better done. But you have to remember too, they needed to conceptualize what the internet was. Because
Yes.
Hackers was 1995.
I know.
Yeah, it's pre-internet.
So-
but to your point,
Well,
that's
it's not
why
pre-internet.
Yeah.
It's pre-internet being mainstream. I
Yes.
think
That's
that's
true.
the
That
difference.
is true.
Okay,
Yeah. But I think maybe
Internet
there's a way. I
escape.
think you're right. You're 100% right. That movie is like dated from what we know now or how we deal with technology now. But who knows? In general, whatever.
Does
if they ever
Angelina Jolie
made it.
come back too?
I hope so. She looks so good in that movie. Like she is
That short blue hair.
Oh,
Yes,
she is
so
really
good.
hot.
That was right after what was her breakout role?
I thought it was that.
No.
Well,
that,
no,
that
she-
was her breakout role. The
Oh.
next
Yeah.
role was Gia.
Gia. That's it. Thank you.
That was
Oh,
the HBO. That came out a couple
Gia.
years
I
later. That
know
was
that.
HBO movie.
She got Gia because of
Hackers.
those lips and hackers. Yeah.
Mm.
All right, Rob.
I fucking cannot remember the movie. I like.
Oh.
Well, no, because I'm waiting for all of you guys to finish, and
We're
then
done.
The
and
system is breaking down. We had it. We were
Short
team,
circuit.
We were team. Don't write shit down.
25 Alive shutting down.
Oh no.
Well, this guy takes so fucking long to explain
Just say
everything.
Ready Player One.
Cut this out, actually.
It's Warhorse.
What was
Pick
it
a
again?
Spielberg.
I'm like totally brain farted now, and it was really good. Let's just go on.
All right, that's
I
fine.
can't remember.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Arnold
You're going to
Schwarzenegger,
be in the middle of
Sixth
the
Day.
next bit here, and it's going
Yeah.
to come to you.
It's gonna
so,
come back. Yeah.
So, but this one because this is brand new shit. So I figured let's include this. this year. The
Gentlemen,
30-second sneak peek for,
Let's broaden our
for
minds. Lawrence?
Lord of the Rings, Ring of Power. Is it Rings of Power? Or it's Ring of Power. I
haven't
believe.
seen it.
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power, yeah, because
Rings? All of them.
it's the
Yes.
different people who had the rings.
Yep.
Yeah.
I call it blank. We wrote a blank check, so try to make something good.
And please watch it. Please watch it because it's going to be so expensive. From what they've said, there was a little blurb of it, and it did say how this was like pre everything we've seen: the realms of men, the realms of elves, the realms of orgs, the realms of, like pre-Mordor, like tons
Yeah,
before.
way before everything. Yeah.
Characters that you will know of will be featured or referenced to,
Talked about.
but it will be a whole new line of characters, and it will be the story of, I imagine, this is me assuming, how all the rings became, and then how it just became the one. What we see in the reference of what we've seen in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and referencing to that battle and the Battle of Man and the fall of man and how it.
Right, because we know that all the rings were created, and the one ring was created in secret, right?
Yes.
And so like the other rings, so where the other rings were dispersed to elves and men and so on.
Mages,
Yeah.
wizards, giant
So
Trollocs. No, that's Wheel of Time.
I'm looking forward to it. Anytime that there's a world that I've taken the time to invest in getting to like learn and understand, I appreciate when there's expansion in that world, because it's a place that I'm familiar with, right? And I'm comfortable there. I understand the rules and the
dog
magic.
paddle around.
Dog paddle in there. Yeah. No, I understand the rules and the logic of the world, and so I'm excited to jump back into something new in that experience.
Did you watch Wheel of Time yet?
I haven't watched it yet. No.
Okay. If Wheel of Time is any indication of what Lord of the Rings will be, they did spend some money. Like,
Yeah.
Amazon
Good. Well,
gave a lot of money to Sony.
I don't know if Amazon has much money, so I'm not really expecting.
Well, and like
Sorry.
with this,
Now,
Amazon?
somebody that is a massive fan of Wheel of Time though has a little bit of a different perspective on this.
yes,
because I worry that it might be rushed.
Oh, okay.
It might not have the level of detail and context that true fans really actually want.
so you think because a giant
and
metric-based company like Amazon is pushing
Correct.
this faster than a
Correct.
creative company?
like, just to give you an
would do?
example, like, they have this massive budget, and if it's still only fucking 8 or 9 episodes, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
Yeah,
I am
Probably
so
will be.
tired.
You want
of-
12?
I want 13. I want fucking HBO.
One for the Queen?
Let's
Yeah.
do the fucking proper fucking turn, because that's what it used to always be.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
somehow it got cut down to 12, and then 10, and then 9, and now it's fucking 8. Fuck that shit. I want 13 fucking hours for a fucking season, not this 8 shit where you're cutting all these fucking corners. So I'm just gonna be very, very frank. I am not overly bullish. I am worried that there's not enough Peter Jackson involvement on this.
Yep.
And
practically none.
But you
Yeah.
also
You know?
don't
Pretty
have
much nothing.
you don't have a story that you're comparing it to, though. That's the thing. Whereas
I
with,
get
with
it.
Wheel of
I
Time,
get
you
it.
do,
I get
and
it.
you're like, oh, you missed this.
I get it.
I-
I get it.
he-
I get it. And that's a valid point. But I'm just worried that they're writing a massive blank check and then it might just fall flat. That's what I worry.
He's looking at it from who's making it, and you're looking at it from what you know about it.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and that's why you're
Oh.
excited, and that's why he's afraid. But he's as excited as you are because he's been talking about this.
Fair enough.
Like everybody in this room, I believe, wants to see it.
Absolutely.
Okay, Ian, no,
I
you're
know.
shaking.
I'll be honest with you. I wish that they were doing Lord of the Rings with the Wheel of Time budget, and they were doing the Wheel of Time with the Lord of the Rings budget,
Oh.
which I think
Interesting.
would have been better.
Put your thing down,
That's-
flip it,
yeah.
and reverse it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ian, you're shaking your head.
I've never read Wheel of Time. Maybe I'll watch the show one day. I don't know. If it gets,
I've never read it either, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, if it becomes this thing where everyone like I have to watch
It's
it.
a more immersive world and a bigger world than Lord of the
I've
Rings.
heard
there's
good
You can
things.
read more.
Yeah.
Like,
And if you think Game of Thrones is a big deal, Game
Like,
of
to an
Thrones,
extent.
I'm just saying a massive immersive world.
Yeah.
George R. R. Martin, I think, kind of picked up on that from fucking what Robert Jordan.
I've
Wheel
always
of
had a
Time
hard
is the
time.
fucking model.
Well, I've always had a hard time with medieval, I'd say, like that type fantasy world. Like Game of Thrones, I was actually surprised how much I jumped into. I was like, oh, I like this.
Real world politics.
Wheel of
though.
Time.
Yeah, that's why.
Wheel of Times is almost though it's not quite Middle Ages. It's almost more moving into the Renaissance kind
Right.
of era.
Yeah.
Right. And
So there's it's
It's
more.
more highbrow.
the trailers
Yeah.
do make it
Watch,
look
watch.
good.
It's less bastard swords and more rapiers.
I I never liked. I read The Hobbit,
And that's
the book.
Rapier's.
Rapier.
I-E-R, not. There's
Yes.
not like rampant rape in the
Rapiers.
movie.
Is that a character? What is that? Oh, yeah.
It's a type of
That's a
sword.
Oh, it's a
Rapier.
sword. Oh, I
Rapier.
was like, wait, I
He's
thought
not
it was
rapier. It's a rapier.
not-
I
Yeah,
know
he's
nothing, I
not
know nothing
rapier.
about swords.
You're not rapier than that person. It's a sword.
I'm
called a
really nervous
rapier.
about what you were about to say about The Hobbit.
I don't like the book.
You don't like the book, The
I
Hobbit?
never liked the book, The Hobbit. I've read it like 3 times. I don't like the book. It's just I'm not a Lord of the Rings massive
Okay,
fan. I think I don't.
I'm okay. I'm
Save
I'm
space.
willing-
Hang on. Hang on.
I can
hang
understand
on.
if you don't
Let
like
him
the
explain.
trilogy.
Yeah,
Let him
that's
explain.
what I was
I
gonna
was gonna say. Actually,
That's
don't
what I
mind.
was gonna
I don't
say.
mind the trilogy.
I can.
I don't like the Hobbit
That's
trilogy.
backwards.
When did you read The Hobbit for the first time?
I read it like once when I was 11. Again when I was like, I think again when I was 16, and finally when I was 20.
But you've read it 3 times.
Because I could never remember. I couldn't remember
you
if I ever liked
obviously,
it.
obviously liked it.
I couldn't remember if I liked it.
But he gave it. He gave
because
it
I
3
when
chances.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
last time when I was 20, it was
Is it
after,
you don't? Did you not know how to sing the songs when
Yeah,
you're
that's
reading
why.
it?
Well, I think I started reading it again
offbeat.
Deep and mountains
because of the movies. Because when they came out,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, maybe I should read all the books, and then I
Okay.
just couldn't.
I can totally see not enjoying like Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, Return of the
I
King.
like those.
Those are a little bit more
They're
of a
fine.
slog to read. But the Hobbit is fast. It's action packed. It's crazy. I love it.
It's a great condensed
boring.
book.
Yes.
like
So
like,
many things
like Lord of the
happen.
Rings, the actual book. To your point, they're a
long.
hard read
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah,
Long
they
as
are.
especially
well.
if you've read
They are.
newer fantasy from the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. Like I remember I read Dragonlance kind of stuff.
Yep.
And then I went and read Lord of the Rings, and I was like,
Nothing's
holy
happening. Thor, old
fuck.
son of
That's
Thor.
how I
and
feel
what
about
the
the Hobbit,
fuck?
which is funny.
That's crazy to
I know,
me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's never been, but I think this world, like I just said, like medieval stuff is not my thing. It takes a bit for me to get into it.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
This trailer, not really. I don't really care. But from when I watched it and saw the title, what I thought immediately was like, I feel like they're gonna try to do infinity stones with the rings and just have these like stories of people
all the
trying to
different-
get, yeah,
Yeah.
of, like people trying to gather
That's cool.
it. I think that's what my headspace is, and I'm like, that's an interesting marketing play. Take a leaf sort of from Marvel and try to like build the story.
What do you
like
guys
that.
think's gonna do better, the new Game of Thrones prequel or the Lord of the Rings prequel?
Lord of the
Lord of
Rings.
the Rings.
Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings.
So do I.
I think the new Game of Thrones prequel will.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think they
I
ended
think
so
I
badly.
think Amazon has so much more. Amazon Prime has so much more reach than HBO Max.
I agree. I think people are just bitter still about Game of Thrones.
I know a guy at work who's like very invested in this prequel, and he thinks there'll be anywhere between 15 to 20 dragons. Like it's the age of everything that
Yeah.
Daenerys talked about. It's all those skulls in the bottom of King's Landing
That's where all the
flying
dragons.
around the air. Like all like the Balerion the Dread is around.
Yeah, but they don't have a big enough budget to make the CGI consistent.
I know. I'm just arguing
episode
dragons.
after episode.
I'm just using dragons.
And I know they're probably gonna have $80 or $90 million budget. This has $200 million fucking dollars,
Right.
and $120 million of that with the Lord of the Rings is just gonna be for CGI.
You don't need much for location for that because you've got your backstory. But they left New
Well,
Zealand.
look-
They left New Zealand and came back to England,
I
and
don't-
that was mired in push. You're right.
You know why they did that?
Well, they were rushing. There were
No,
stunt.
it's because production rules are too fucking strict in New Zealand. New Zealand's so fucking woke on COVID. They're ruining the film industry there.
Oh,
That's very interesting. I
That's
didn't
what.
know
That's
that.
So they
that's
decided
just
to
my opinion.
go
I
to
don't
the
even.
country
I
where
don't know if
it's the
that's founded,
opposite.
but I guarantee you, I
Right.
bet you that's part of it.
they didn't say why. They just left
I
in a
bet
hurry.
you. I bet you that's part of it.
Interesting. I think we're all gonna give it a shot.
I
in
still
some way,
can't
shape, or
remember the
form.
CGI
Like,
movie I want to choose.
I'm certainly not going to
G.I.
watch it.
It's G.I. Joe, isn't it?
No, it's not. I can't remember it. It's like on the. You know what? It's like you can like picture it, but you can't say it. It's like trying to remember a dream. Right
Yeah,
now.
it's
Yeah.
like it's Matrix
get it.
Revolution.
I think it might be a way homer. Like you might text the group after
I
and just
know.
be like, "This was
What's
it."
this?
Just if that's the case, record something in your
So
phone
say
and
send
send
a
it to
note.
me,
Yeah,
and
send a
and
voice note.
and I'll put it in.
Yeah.
I'll
Hey
put it
everyone,
right
it's
in.
me, Rob. I just
Yeah.
figured out what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
a
exactly.
voicemail.
Yeah, send me something.
Middle of the night.
Voice record on your phone to a recorder. You've got a good phone. It'll be perfect.
It's really frustrating me though.
That's so funny.
I know it's going to happen when you leave now. It's got to. Anyways, last item of note of info of note is Heat, the amazing '90s crime drama.
Michael Mann.
Made by Michael Mann, starring Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. The second
Val
time,
Kilmer.
The
They-
3-hour
Kilmer,
movie
yeah, Val
where
Kilmer.
literally the two main characters are only on screen together for like 18 minutes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
and
It might be
the
a little
third,
longer
It's
than
the
that,
third act
no,
only.
it's like 15, 18.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's the best part of it's what you wait for is getting a sequel, but it's not getting a movie, it's getting a novel.
Book, yes.
Now, I've read the premise. Apparently it gets into like Japanese Yakuza mafia and, South American cartels.
Oh, it's just a book.
It's just
Just
a
a book.
book.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a movie.
Okay, see,
No,
and I was
yeah.
like, I'm going to
Okay,
leave that
okay.
until today
Okay.
because hey man, I thought Disneyland was $5,000 a person. I found out it was only $2,500 a person. I want to go now. So,
I'll come with.
Yeah, we'll do it, man.
Do you want to do it? That'd be so much.
Fuck
I don't
yeah.
have anyone to go with.
The real debaters do Disney World,
Yeah.
Disneyland.
I'll do it again.
That'd be so much fun. I've never
So, we'll talk. About
Yeah.
There's money.
Tangents.
There's money.
Are we
in
talking
the,
Disneyland here? Because I'm actually have to.
We're
go
going to Florida if we're
I have
going
to.
anywhere.
Because I have to go to California in September.
You don't want to
so
go to
we can-
not
California.
in
They're going to be
California,
wearing
yeah.
masks till 2027.
We're
fucking,
going to Florida.
Fucking Florida 2 years ago. Masks? What those?
Yeah.
What damn? Nobody listens to us in Florida. So
They should start.
it's just, should you even, like, the big argument is right now is like, fucking don't touch that. It's mine. It's from my childhood. Don't fucking touch it. But what if it's just a book? Like, what if it's like, okay, we know we don't have the money to make this.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah?
I actually love this idea. Like you get
Yep.
Agreed.
It's like
books-
fan fiction
It's
almost.
reverse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get books all the time that are made into movies, and it's always
Once a-
disappointing because you've read the book and you love it so much, and you get all this character detail and stuff. And so now you've got the opposite. You've got a movie, and they're like, well, instead of remaking it or doing this sequel that we've been talking about, when you maybe don't have enough money or you can't find the right actors for it or like whatever, just
Yeah.
give it to people in their minds. That's so
Well,
cool.
it's like all the Star Wars novels that I liked.
Yes.
I liked reading
fiction.
after the fact,
Yeah.
and they explored that world, but through novels.
Yes, and it's all
right?
you get to imagine it the way you want to. You've got this baseline though. You know what the characters look like. You know what they
You know what
sound
the
like.
feel is.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I think it's a great idea. I love it.
I'm actually okay with it because I was worried because Val Kilmer doesn't really have a voice anymore. Robert De Niro and Al Pacino are getting too old, and I think one of us commented in our group chat, like, is this going to get the Irishman effect? And that really
Right.
fucking worries me
Yeah.
because I hate that,
Yeah.
right? And it sometimes is better left
It's square peg,
left,
round hole.
but also.
is-
Could anybody be cast to replicate those roles
that was
in a
what I was
meaningful
thinking.
way that I would feel redeemed? I think the answer is no.
there is too much, to dovetail on that, there's too much amazingness in The Godfather 2 to even try to replicate with two other actors, which is why this scene works in this diner. It's
Oh, okay. For a
because
second there, I was like,
I didn't know what you were going with. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
now it all makes sense.
I'm
Now-
saying,
yeah, yeah.
I'm saying
I know what you mean.
watching them as Michael and watching them as Vito,
Yeah.
not on screen together,
Well,
but
they never.
on screen
Well, they
together.
can unless they had a time machine in
But,
Godfather 2.
But, like, but what you're getting is you're getting them as close as possible.
Yeah.
So they marketed on casting off of, we haven't seen them together, and we've
XXX.
only seen them together this way.
Yep.
In a movie that has the end fucking bank robbery scene is so fucking good.
Fucking
The shootout-
first, like bank robbery.
Tom
scene.
Sizemore is so fucking great in that movie too. Like fuck.
Oh my God! The running it is a PTSD riddled shootout scene. Like when you watch
Have
it,
you ever seen it in the theater?
Yeah.
I never got.
So I
to.
saw it in the theater. I
Super
saw it in the
loud.
theater
Yep.
when it first came out, right? And I just remember it just being so just bam, 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 bam. Your ears were fucking ringing when
Yeah.
you see it in the theater.
Yeah, I would go back.
It's
for
like you're
a theater
there,
walkthrough.
and the ricochet, and they captured the sound
Yeah.
so well. The sound editing is so good in that movie.
It's the most brilliant
Mm-hmm.
crime drama ever. All things always.
Well, The Wire is, but
Well, in all, yeah, okay, sure, yeah. Little Brother, Wire, Big Brother.
but it's a movie.
Heat.
It's a different entity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
it's not
instead of
it's
a
not a
show.
saga. Like fucking
Yeah.
The Wire is a saga.
You, Ian? Your
It
thoughts?
has as little or zero impact to my life, so bring it on.
Will you read
Good
it?
answer.
Will
Yeah.
you read it?
Yeah, would you read it?
No, I'm not gonna read
Would
it.
you? Okay, would you audiobook it?
No, I wouldn't audiobook it.
Even if what's left of Val Kilmer's voice was reading
No,
it
it's
to
not
you?
gonna.
I
no,
would prefer if
no.
it was actually turned into a video game.
That'd be cool.
Real, okay.
But even that, I probably
I
would
mean,
play.
well, they did The Godfather
Because
as
I
a
like
video
I like
game.
I like Yakuzas in video games.
It's just a huge sprawling story of
But
that
Heat's
crime
a good
gang.
movie on its own.
It's a
Like-
great fucking
it's
movie.
just you don't need anything.
And it's
more.
Chris. It stars Chris. It stars Kilmer's character going off
Oh, is
finding
that
another
what
crew.
it is?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Because Chris was the only one to survive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So he shows up, looks for the the daughter of not Judd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Naomi Judd, and which
Naomi Judd?
Ashley Judd?
Ashley Judd Winona. I want to talk about
That's
Hank.
her. I think that's her older
what
sister
about
who's a singer.
What about Hank Azaria's small role in
Oh fuck!
in Heat,
I love
like
Hank
I
as
barely remember that.
as the Judd's lover who
Oh yeah, that's
when
right.
he's like, "Give me all you got, give me all you got." That's who he's talking to.
Yeah, that's true. I still can't remember the movie for the CGI thing.
All right, well that seems like a perfect off ramp to exit. Yeah, cut that shit, put it in the can. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's the show. Maybe when Rob drives home, he'll remember and you'll get it. And I'd love it if that's how it gets into this episode. So just take some ginkgo when you get home, like supercharge that brain.
Get those
And-
juices flowing.
And because everybody who listens to this episode is going to want to know when it hits you. Like it's now part of the ether.
Yes.
We have to know about it.
I know it'll come to me.
It'd be weird if it wouldn't. Because now I'd be like, go back to that episode. It's a really funny episode where Mark forgot his
Everything.
pick,
Yeah.
and then remembered it like showering. We want to know where you were when it happened.
So on the,
What
you were
I'm calling
doing.
it right now. It's gonna be on the toilet. You're
Yeah.
gonna be scrolling through something.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I got it.
It's gonna
Oh
be
my God.
mining for the perfect porn video.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Stick around for a little post-end credit scene of all of the ways that you can support and follow and be involved in the Real Debater universe. And Ian, you're still working on shit.
I'm still working on shit.
Okay, all right. You're like, we don't do cool shit like you do. So like, yeah.
You say
Rob's still working, Emily's still working, I'm still working. but you-
things to plug. I'm filming things, and I have to go to Vietnam at some point.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Is that part of the
That's
is that
cool.
part of the money?
It's part
the
of
money one?
my documentary on financial independence, and then I'm hopefully shooting my short in April, and then after that going to Vietnam, and
Sweet.
then for 10 days, and then that doc is in post, and then my feature is I'm trying to get a first. I've been talking about this forever. A first draft done by which is I have notes upon notes and pieces of random script pages by the 31st of this month, because there's a deadline for this Netflix thing.
Pretty fucking soon.
I know.
You got
It
it.
doesn't need. It
You
doesn't
got
need
it.
to be good.
You
It
just
need a
need
first draft.
fucking Adderall
I do.
and fucking coffee.
Can you hook me up?
No, I can't actually.
Get it. But yeah. So
I think that's easy just to get a prescription. nowadays.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
you
that's
can
tough.
just ask your
Just
doctor.
remember Adderall. Side effects include being awesome at everything.
sweet.
All right. Thanks for listening to another Real Debaters production, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, people out there. I've been Michael Petrow.
I'm Ian Bauer.
And I'm Emily Clark.
I'm Rob. I forgot what the fuck I was gonna say. Strachan.
Watch all the movies, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
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 All right. So, of course, I completely blanked and completely brain farted on the actual podcast itself. And as per your prediction, I was driving home, and what popped back in my head? The movie that I was going to discuss that needs a revamp for CGI. And the movie that I wanted to talk about was Flash Gordon. I think it's a wickedly cheesy movie. The special effects totally don't hold up, but it's just got that campy, feel that is just reminiscent of my childhood. And I think if that got a proper CGI revamp, I think it would be amazing with either really cool CGI wings for all the Hawkeyes or even really cool prosthetics. I just think that movie deserves an amazing update, and I think it could be really well done with the right budget.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, another Real Debaters production is in the can. Thank you so much for listening. If this is your first, second, third, fifth, 20th time, thank you so much. But thank you to the first timers, the ones here who pressed play for the first time and took a gamble on us. If you like what you heard today, the easiest thing to support the show is just to subscribe. Hit the like button, the follow button, whatever's in your podcast player. Make it so that we're always there every Wednesday for you, okay? That would be huge. If you want to stay in touch with us, if you want to follow us, there's a couple ways to do that. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. We're slowly migrating to YouTube by putting all of the things we've ever put on video onto that site. There's some surprises coming this year that happened a while ago, but I felt needed to be shared because they're part of the Debaterverse. So the YouTube page is coming. But if you want to follow us, it's at Real Debaters Pod on Twitter and Instagram. It's the Real Debaters Podcast on TikTok. All of the links, all of the one click away things are in the show notes that you've just listened to. So if you want to follow us there, that would be great too, because then you get to stay in the know of all the things that we do and what we're going to try to do this year and what we've done in the past, so on and so forth. So that's how you stay in touch with us. If you want to contact us, it's therealdebaters@gmail.com. All the spelling for all these things is REEL to keep with the title of the show. So you can send an email to us there, request an episode, want to call out one of us for being a goofball. There's places to do that as well too, like the Real Debaters website. You can email us, or you can go straight to the website, rate us in Podchaser, it's realdebaters.ca. And if you really, really liked what you heard and you want to support the show in some fashion that requires you spending money, well, we got a couple ways for you to do that as well too. You can buy our merch at the Prop Shop. It's a store through Threadless, and it's online, and you can order stuff. We've got tons of stuff. We've got our Mass Debater wear there. It's our signature, original, and only line. It's our logo on everything. So you can support us that way. Go to the merch tab in the show notes, or if you just got a buck and you're like, hey, I want to give you a buck and donate it to your cause, there is a tab in the show notes as well too that says donate to the Debaterverse, I think. And if you click on that, well, it takes you to a donation page where you can donate like $1, $3, and $5, and you'll get something for your $1, $3, or $5. Any more than that's just ludicrous. Luda. So, that's just kind of what I wanted to tell you, that what I said at the end of the show. This is what you should listen to, because this is all about who we are. And now that we've gotten to where we are, we want to interact with you guys more. So these are the ways to do so. This is the way to stay in touch with us. Thank you to everybody, again, who's listened to the show. Again, you pressed play. You took a chance. That's cool. So without further ado, this is where I said I would talk more, so it's eggs on your face. No, I got nothing else for you. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week, and watch all them fucking movies. Bye-bye.